Alright, hello fruity cuties. It's me, Kiwi. How's it going, everybody? How we doing? We're gonna be doing an Abnologue reading stream because we're finally getting our lore. We're finally getting all of our lore. Hi, Giba. You guys are gonna have to forgive me. Two things. One, I need to pee really bad, and I was like setting up everything before the stream started, so I need to go use the bathroom. So I'm gonna have to go do that quick. I also have completely forgotten which thing controls my. I don't know which is my Lobotomy Corporation window. Oh, there it is. Because I have to adjust this slightly, because we're gonna be also doing a tier list of the abnormalities. Yeah, Bucky, you wake up. You get up, buddy. Take your little nap. I have to set things up. How's everyone doing tonight? What's up? What's shaking? What's baking? Where is this? Is there space for sleigh salt? There's always space for our king. Why is he so far up in my window? You would think I would, after I've done this for a little while, that things would start. I'd start like actually figuring out how to properly like put things together on stream, but there you go. Okay, we've got everything going. Okay, let me add a browser source quick. I just need to add which window is this? Oh, that's you guys. Hi, I've created a chat window. Oh, that's not it. Oh, that's not it. Oh, there we go. I promise I know what I'm doing. I've done these streams before. I've done these streams before. Okay. There we go. We got it good and large. Done nothing productive today, so you're chilling. Also, I forgot to say hi to people. Hi, Average Wow. Hi, Gibamancer. Hi, Squillowy. Hi, Queen of Hatred. Hi, everybody. So, we're... for those of you who might not be familiar with what we're doing, hi, I'm Kiwi, and I just beat Lobotomy Corporation, which is a game that is heavily inspired by SCP. And... we, each of the abnormalities has lore behind it. The abnormalities are like the SCPs. And so we're going to be reading all of their lore logs because I neglected to read them during my playthrough. So, that's gonna be happening, tonight. So I've only read a couple of them. It's mildly important to read some of them because of, where are you? I completely lost an item in my, there we go, in my scene. Because some of them are going to be prevalent, I think, to the lore of the future games. And also, it's just fun to read them, because some of them are cool. So, you're going to have to forgive me as I use the restroom really quick, and then we'll get right into the reading. So, give me just a second, everybody. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. How's audio? Is audio? Oh, is audio fine? Is the music too loud? I can turn down the music. Let me turn down the music slightly. Okay. Alright. I just figured I'd have some sort of Lobotomy Court music playing, because the default music doesn't play during the background, and it would just be ominous whooshing in the background, and as much as I know we all love ominous whooshing, we're going to not have ominous whooshing. So we will just begin right now. Does censored have an actual file, or is it all censored? A lot of it is censored, as you would assume, but there is an actual file, and nothing there has something there. Okay. Story records. Abnormality F01-02. Scorched Girl. Teth. Abnormality records. It takes the form of a girl burnt to ashes. Even though there's nothing left to burn, the fire still doesn't extinguish. A matchstick impales the girl's body like a stake. Usually the match is always lit while the abnormality shows no sign of activity. Because of this, employees often speculate that the matchstick may be the abnormality's true body. However, recently the ashen figure was seen crying, according to witnesses. Excerpt from Abnormality Specialist Dr. Redacted research log. The charred body represents the child's crumbled hope, while the ever-blazing flame represents the obsession for affection. It's always in conflict with the contradiction between those two. We paid a boatload, and that's all they have to say? Excerpt from recorded staff conversation. Well, she's like a ticking time bomb. No one can tell if she's in a good mood or not. We just hope that we won't be the one blown up before entering the containment unit. She won't get any better. We can only try to keep her from getting worse. Excerpt from counseling log. I never thought the abnormality would be able to escape. Maybe we were getting careless. But it seems that all it could do was burn up the match stuck in its body. Yes, our response was a bit late, omitted. Most abnormalities that try to escape would attack the employees in front of them, but this one didn't show any aggression towards the nearby employees. Instead, it headed to a different apartment, the most crowded place in the company. If we didn't suppress it at the door, half the people here wouldn't be in one piece. Okay, pretty standard, just girl go boom. I didn't really feel any attachment towards Scorched Girl. She was just kind of there. Like, she just kind of existed during the playthrough. All our employees keep blowing up! You like Scorched Girl because she was one of the abnos you got early on? Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with her. I don't have anything, like, inherently wrong with her. Where is she? She's annoying. She was annoying to work with. Here she is. And I never got to use her ego gift, like, at all. She was just kind of there. So if you're just kind of there, I mean, like, that's a solid B tier for me. Her ego is cool for a Teth, but I never got to use her, so I'm just gonna put her in B. Big cannon. Okay. On to the next. Did I do this right? Yeah, I did this right. Ah, the classic. O-03-03. One sin and hundreds of good deeds. Abnormality records. Oh, Zay in class. A silent abnormality that understands the conflict between good and evil. Its empty eye sockets stare at all those who encounter it. A giant skull is attached to a cross. It wears a crown of thorns. It floats about 2 meters above the ground. While its appearance is bizarre, it is rare to record an incident of violence against employees involving this abnormality. It feeds on the evil that seeps out during conversations between people. The assigned employee must kneel before it, standing appears to be acceptable, and present their evil by confessing their sins to it. The way it feeds is unknown. Excerpt from experiment records. We have cataloged the sin as a person who can commit the sins a person can commit into 3 levels. Level 1, a small lie or action that goes unnoticed or can be shared in jest. Level 2, sins that are more serious and can only be shared with the closest of friends. Level 3, sins so profound that they cannot be shared with anyone. These will be taken to the grave. Employee redacted had been assigned to confess a level 1 sin. Energy production via the abnormality increased by 12%. Employee redacted was assigned to confess a level 2 sin. And energy production via the abnormality increased by 15%. We assign employee redacted to confess a level 3 sin. 1 minute and 48 seconds after the employee was sent in, a bright flash of light was seen. The light was so bright that it could be seen outside the containment unit. Immediately following the light, there was a facility-wide power outage. The phenomena lasted 2 hours. Employee redacted lost 6 years of their memory. Further experiments were canceled. Scientific ethics decree that all footage of those who participated in the experiment is to be kept sealed. However, the incident left us no choice but to review the footage of the containment unit. Employee redacted. This happened during redacted, around 4 p.m. Anyways, there was a railway about 20 minutes from my house. Some of my good friends and I decided to dress as forest animals. One of us chose to go as a deer. It was a crude costume. It could hardly be called one, to be honest. Just a pair of clumsily made antlers and a dark outfit with some deer-like spots on it, admitted. I don't know how our deer friend wandered into the woods. We didn't even notice he was missing for maybe an hour. We searched for him and finally found him in some bushes. We called out his name, and I'm not sure if it was from relief of finding us or what, but he started sprinting towards us, and that's when we heard it. Gunshots. Bang, bang, bang. When I came to my senses, I saw his blood spattered all the way to my feet. After that, none of us dressed up as an animal ever again. That's all. By the way, is this really supposed to work? Oh, this is the person confessing a sin. Is this a level 1 sin? Is this the level 1 sin? Observation log, number 4_435. Its eye sockets are empty. It is a skull after all, but I doubt it's blind. It certainly has its gaze fixed on me, and I can somehow feel that it's listening to me. Confessing it does not lighten my heart, admittedly. Afterwards, we investigated the incident in the employee's hometown to get a better picture. We learned that a boy named Justin was shot and killed in a deer costume by hunters during hunting season. Unlike the employee's confession, Justin was repeatedly bullied by other kids. Witnesses said they heard the kids shout, "Run, Justin, run!" right before the gunshot. After the incident, the kids at the scene moved out of town and deer hunting was banned in the area. Oh, this is the level 3 sin? Lore stream. I feel like you would do great at reading creepypasta stories or bedtime stories. I would love to do that, Mitsuba. I love stuff like that. I want to do reading of other just SCP logs, just because I think it'd be a lot of fun. So this will do for the time being. I've been told I have a decent narrator voice, so it'd be nice to show it off. So this is the level 3 sin? This is level 3? I don't think this doesn't feel like a level 3 sin. Oh. Excerpt from Abnormality Research Log X-392. Honestly, you can't expect all our employees to give honest confessions to that skull. Around every 1 in 10 employees will tend to say something that's not completely true. It's a bit different from a lie. You could say that it's a subconscious excuse they make. They distort perspectives to justify their actions, even though they are aware that they should be telling the truth. Once this happens, the confession is no longer truly a confession. Yes, I'm talking about you trying to justify your tardiness for 5 minutes now. What? This just feels like someone venting. This just sounds like someone venting. Bro, why is someone venting at the end of the Abno log? Oh, Mitsuba, you butter me up. Okay, let's find... Where's Wonson? I mean, he was with us from the beginning. It's hard to not like him. He's kind of a goat. The first Abno. Where is he? You'd think I'd be able to recognize him. I just need to look for blinding light. Is he not here? Did they forget my boy? Third line? Oh, there he is. I had to look for the overexposed picture of Jesus. Yeah, no, he was a good boy. He was like the default thing that we would send employees to. He gave Joel his first headgear. What a dude, what a bro. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know why. That's a messy lore log. I understand this game was made like a while ago, but like they did not organize this one very well. You can tell it was the first Abnormality. Alright, moving on. Abnormality O-01-04. The Queen of Hatred. Abnormality class, wow. A humanoid abnormality that looks like it would go and fight villains for peace and justice at any moment. It is friendly toward every employee and is able to engage in casual conversation. It believes that it is a hero born to save the world and takes considerable pride in it. When it shows signs of anxiety or doubt while conversing with an employee, its appearance and personality will undergo an adverse change within 4 days, and it will display symptoms of dissociative disorders. Why do I get bonked? Why am I getting bonked? What do you mean? Oh, the tier list is in the way. Oh, Lamau. What, you guys can't read? Oh, you guys can't read this? Can you read now? 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 Can you read? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll stop being a dick. No, don't my bad for the bonk. I deserved that one. I needed to get someone needed to notice. I wasn't looking. Okay, where was I? The definition of good and evil are fixed in its mind. Some assume that the abnormality's beliefs lead to a horrible doubt about the existence of evil. It will choose to become evil to negate that doubt. All parameters will return to normal after the negative phase passes, and the abnormality will have no memory of the behavior it exhibited during that phase. Audio log 1. Employee, how are you feeling today? Magical girl. Good! The world is at peace and it's quiet around here. Peace is a great thing to have. It means there aren't any villains around, right? Audio log 2. Employee. You're looking a bit down today. Magical girl. Still fine. The world's peaceful and it's... The abnormality fell silent and did not wish to continue speaking. Omitted. Audio log 3. Employee. Are you alright? Magical girl. Why is it still so peaceful? You see, the whole purpose of my life is to defeat villains. It's as if the world is trying to say it doesn't need me. Really. Why is it still so peaceful? Oh, did I mention that I'm a magical girl? To keep the peace, to keep the world's peace I was born. But today, it's quiet today. The abnormality continued to murmur incomprehensible words to itself. Audio log 4. The abnormality endlessly mumbles to itself without even noticing the employee in its containment. Magical girl. The world can be divided into good and evil. I am on the side of justice. If I am on the side of good, then someone has to be on the side of evil. Without someone to play the villain, I can't exist. Then who is going to protect the world? Audio cuts out. Audio log 5. Level 3 or above access required. This is part of an audio obtained during the rampage on the date of redacted. The abnormality used a radio installed in the facility to call the emergency planning team. Continuous sobbing. Employee. This is the emergency planning team. Please identify yourself. I think I did this. I couldn't stop myself. It's my fault. I ruined everything. I betrayed the people who were kind to me. I don't remember why I did this. Employee. Could you elaborate on what happened? I don't know. They aren't moving. There's so much blood. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Omitted. 3 bodies were found at the Abnormality's containment unit. The Abnormality lost all memory of the incident afterwards. Oh. So that's why you have to... So it literally is like... So that's the reason why it breaches. If you don't, like, make someone an enemy. You have to make yourself the enemy because otherwise it can't exist. Oh, that explains it. I was like, that's such a weird thing for it to want as, like, a part of the containment procedures. Oh, that makes so much sense. For in the game, this thing will break out if you don't kill a certain number of employees between time periods. So you're essentially making yourself the enemy so that she has a reason to exist. And therefore she doesn't become the enemy. Oh, that's so interesting. That raises her a lot more for me. She is a pain in the ass to keep in the facility because I have the memory of a goldfish. That being said, though, her gear rocks. Her gear is probably the best WoW gear outside of Magic Bullet. So I'm definitely giving her A tier. Hate her in the facility. Lore was super cool. I'm putting her at A tier just because I could not stand her being in the facility for longer than like 1 second. She exists to help you in Second Trumpet, then immediately turned bad because the people died while she was out. Hey, you know, it's like sweet and sour. It's like Sour Patch Kids. A little bit of sour with the sweet, you know. First they're sour, then they're even more sour. That's how it goes, right? All right, next. Abnormality T-04-06. Abnormality class He. Happy Teddy Bear. Abnormality records. An abnormality that resembles a large raggedy teddy bear. It's missing some fur and only has one eye. The old ribbon around its neck hints that it may have received much affection from its previous owner. There is a name on the ribbon, but it is too tattered to be discernible. It seems that it knows it has been abandoned and looks dejected. Excerpt from counseling log. I was on the night patrol. I didn't feel the need to pay attention to Happy Teddy since it was harmless for the most part. I just looked inside the containment unit to check it. Teddy was hugging someone tightly. I thought it was redacted, the employee that was in charge of Teddy for a while, working late. But something was odd. I entered the containment unit and called redacted name, but they didn't answer. I immediately pressed the emergency button to call in reinforcement. Turns out, redacted, had been in a coma for 8 hours. They were in Teddy's arms the whole time. An old letter stamped with rejected. Remember what was written in the employee manual? Do not have personal feelings towards abnormalities. At first, I didn't get what that was supposed to mean. Does it even make sense to develop any emotion towards these monsters in the first place? It's okay, they are monsters. Between the two of us, we can call them that. Happy Teddy Bear was the second abnormality you took charge of. I guess you must have thought that not all abnormalities are monstrous after seeing it. The figure of an old, abandoned teddy bear may have brought up old memories of yours. Teddy seemed to like your hugs. Yeah, it would actually produce more energy when you were around, and in no time they put you in charge of Teddy. You probably felt some kind of responsibility for it, right? I started getting worried as you visited Teddy's unit more and more often. It felt as if you were visiting an orphanage for volunteer work. It seems Teddy saw you as its new owner. Maybe you'd have been happy to hear that, but you see, Teddy really never wanted to be separate from its owner ever again. You probably promised it that you'd return, but it couldn't understand. I heard that you miraculously survived, and that they spent an hour trying to separate you from Teddy's embrace. Though others may forget about you, I will always remember you. May there be a miracle. Okay. So, that explains a lot more about this abnormality. This abnormality kills any employee that works with it twice. So, yeah, that's cool. I don't like it because it's annoying to work with, and its ego gifts suck. Pointless. Cool Abno. Cool idea. I like the idea. Good concept. Terrible to have in the facility. This thing sucks. And you get your spine snapped by a teddy bear? Bro. I just want hugs, man. I just want affection. This thing is taking advantage of my personal love language. And for that, D tier. Although, I'll put it in C for now because it had good lore. Some Abnos, I might be tempted to... Spine snapping Teddy sounds like a vibe. He just never wants to let you go. He just never wants to let you go. Can you guys see the tier list just fine up here in the corner? Like, is it okay if I just leave it at this side? At this size? So that way you can see everything else on the screen for the most part. You can still see the picture and all that jazz. Yeah. There's an edgier Teddy in Project Moon. There is Hexnail. The Hexnail abnormality is... That's probably my favorite sets of egos because I love bleed. So I love the Hexnail abnormalities. His picture is weirdly scary. I mean, I would hope it is. What? Were you feeling affection towards the abnormalities? Do I need to get the execution bullet for you, employee? I've got one locked and loaded with your name on it. Don't make me pull it out. Okay, next Abno. Abnormality Records O-04-08. Red shoes. Abnormality class, he. Abnormality Records. A pair of elegant red women's shoes. The design is antique, but there's no telling where and how they were made. It overwhelms the mind with the urge to try them on. The changes that occur from wearing the abnormality are first visible in the eyes of the wearer. The next observable change is that the wearer is unwilling to take off the shoes. They will also act upon any and all desires that they may have subconsciously suppressed. If someone attempts to hamper them from acting on their desires or tries to take off the shoes will control its host, which sometimes leads to murder. It is unknown whether the host's will is involved in the process, but taking into consideration the sharp increase in one's desires and aggressiveness, the host's primal urges seem to remain intact. Excerpt from counseling log. Redacted. Was a nice person. Well, they were also kinda a celebrity. They always told us that our job was something to be proud of. They knew how to deal with all kinds of abnormalities, but it was our biggest mistake to let them enter that containment unit. We never thought a pair of shoes, of all things, would do any sort of harm. At some point, Redacted was wearing the shoes, grinning from ear to ear. It was, well, quite strange. That wasn't a smile, it was... omitted. Blood was all over the place. The tapping of the shoes echoed in the corridor. I closed my eyes and played dead. I saw one of my colleagues' heads rolling on the floor. The shoes stopped right in front of me and stood there for such a long time. Eventually they moved past me. And that was right when I passed out. Admitted. I heard they couldn't take off the shoes and had to cut off their legs. No one ever saw it, redacted, again after that, but those who have been here long enough will recall the incident. Footage from corridor camera Z3493. Redacted 1. So the work on your parts is all done, right? I just finished mine. That little match girl is still in the same state. It's so frustrating. Want to grab some coffee at the lounge? Redacted 2. You know, redacted 1. There's something I've been thinking about for a long time. Redacted 1. Let's talk when we get to the lounge. I'm too tired right now. Hey, are you wearing shoes? Only staff footwear is around during work. That's not important, redacted 1. What's important is that we're alone at the moment. Redacted 1. What are you talking about? Wait, what exactly are you wearing on your feet? You didn't wear it, did you? Redacted 2. Redacted 1. I've loved you for a while. Redacted 1. Take it off now. Do you realize what you're doing right now? Redacted 2. I was thinking about why you wouldn't love me back. It's Emily, isn't it? You were so busy looking at Emily that you didn't even notice me, right? Redacted 1. Is that an axe you're holding? You're bleeding from your ankles. Redacted 2. I'm begging you, please take that off. Redacted 2. So all I need to do is get rid of Emily. Wait here a bit. It won't be long. You have to stay here till I come back. Redacted 1. Please snap out of it, please. Redacted 2. If you wanted to stop me, you should have done that the day we first met. Redacted 2 stuns Redacted 1 with their weapon and went off to the lounge. Fortunately, no one else besides Redacted 1 was harmed, including Emily. Redacted 2 was soon removed from the company database. They were entirely aware of what they were doing. They admitted that the shoes only encouraged them to do what they had always desired. A response team handled the suppression of Redacted 2. Afterward, the red shoes ran away, tearing Redacted 2's ankles off of their body. It took a total of 23 minutes for them to be suppressed, contained, and returned to their containment unit. Redacted 2 died from excessive blood loss. Redacted 1 only sustained minor injuries, but elected to resign due to excessive psychological trauma. Excerpt from research log. We received the report that employee Redacted was alerted by the shoes and was roaming the corridor. We immediately ordered employee F3054 to suppress her. She was a veteran employee with vast experience in suppression, so we expected her to suppress a female employee without any trouble. But she didn't return, and when the others found her, employee F4002 was unconscious with both her ankles severed, while employee F3054 was manically trying to remove the shoes from the severed feet. Man, that's... Yeah, this one's a lot more interesting. I like this one. I didn't have, like, that many issues with red shoes. At least it's manageable to have, because, like, if it actually, like, you had to restart 4 days because of this terrible thing. Or it's able to possess high-level employees just as well as low-level ones. Well, because it just feeds off of desires. Like, everyone has desires that they're willing to act on. I never had too many problems with this. Also, I'm not gonna lie, the lips making Squillowy angry, that made me very happy. It was very funny. Diva and her lips. So just to spite... Just for spite, I'm putting it in A tier. Nah, B tier. We'll keep it in B tier. We'll move it up if we really want to. Its ego gift isn't that useful, but we're putting it above Scorch Girl. Make an F tier for this? I'll make an F tier for you. I'll make an F tier for you. Okay, anyway. Next! Oh, see, Bro, all of the I wish the tools had actual lore, man. The tools don't have any lore. Whatever. Log. A music box with an impressive sculpture of a dancing ballerina. When wound up, a sad melody begins to play. No one knows when it was made or who made it, but it doesn't seem to be new, judging from the slight skips in the song. There are a few phrases crudely carved on its surface. Do you remember this melody? The professor used to play this song when the students were sleepy. Happy birthday. Listening to this music box will make anyone feel like everything will be okay in the end, lifting their fatigue. However, excessive listening will make one lose grip on reality and be driven mad. Yeah, I did hear it's just gonna be clogged with tools, man. Like, this thing sucks. It's not even... I don't think I ever use this outside of researching. Like, you know what? We might as well just, like, get this out of the way right now, man. Like, the tools are so lame. Project Moon, remake this game and remake the tools and my life is yours. Bro, not even that. I don't even care, man. There we go. For those of you who can't read that, I made an F tier specifically for tools. For super, super F. For boring as sin. That being said, not all of the tools are that bad. F for tools plus red shoes. You know what? How about F for F you? See, there's F you, F you, F you. Bucky, why are you surprised? I took this fucker to the vet today. Bro is hissing at all of the vet techs. Those poor veterinary technicians, man. They didn't do a goddamn thing, and he was hissing at them. Apparently his hisses are really nasty. He never hisses at home. But he was mad. He's got some little, like, irritation on his paw, so I wanted to have them take a look at it, and they said that it's probably nothing. Bro doesn't even do anything. Like, he's all bark and no bite. Like, the vets were terrified of him, and I was like, this guy is not gonna do anything, man. Like, he got in the carrier willingly. I don't have to drag him to it. All I have to do is hold the carrier out and say, Bucky, come here. And he'll just walk into it. And then I go to the vet willingly. He doesn't do any hissing. I'm holding him in my arms, like allowing them to take a look at his paw. And he's just hissing at them the entire time, not doing anything. It's like, can we do this without the hissing? Like, you're not even doing anything. No one's stopping. You're not stopping anyone. You're just making yourself look like a dipshit. Like, calm it down, bro. Anyway, I still love him, and I took him out to get a pup cup afterwards. He wolfed that whipped cream down like it was no one's business. I mean, the vets were terrified, bro. They went and got the bad kitty towel. They didn't even need to use the bad kitty towel. They just got it anyways because they were afraid. They were afraid of the tiger. Rawr! Pup cups? Oh no, the pup cups are just it's just a small, like, sippy cup of whipped cream. Okay, anyway, well, let's read Granny. She's been sitting on the screen long enough. We need to put her back in her loneliness. Okay, Granny. I mean, it's basically if you go to like any sort of coffee place, it's usually Starbucks that will do it. That's like where the term came from originally, I think. But it's basically if you go to any coffee place and you ask for a pup cup, they'll just give you a cup full of whipped cream for your dog or your cat for free. Because most baristas like to see a cat while they're doing a long shift at the drive-thru where they're standing the entire time. Oh, I don't go to it either. I don't go to it either. Like, this is probably the first time I've gone to a coffee place in a year, actually. Because I just make my own coffee at home all the time. But it was like the middle of the afternoon. I had just taken him to the vet. It was hot as sin outside and I needed an iced coffee. And I just wanted to get him some ice cream as a reward. Well, or whipped cream as a reward for putting up with my shit. Anyway. Enough ranting. I'm sorry, this is supposed to be a lore stream, not a Kiwi lore stream. Dog ice cream? Oh my gosh, no, I wasn't talking about that. That sounds... I want to eat the dog ice cream. Can I be a dog? If I... Woof! 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 Can I have the dog ice cream? Woof, woof. Woof, 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 woof. Did I pass? I don't even want to see what chat's gonna have to say about that. Anyway, let's continue. Abnormality 02-01-12 Old Lady. Abnormality records. Oh, abnormality class Teth. An abnormality taking the form of an old and feeble woman. Anytime anyone enters the containment unit, it will talk to the person. What it tells differs from time to time, however, it always will commence with, "Dearie, dearie, would you like to hear a story?" This story could be a lullaby, an unspecified poem, a nursery rhyme, a common children's story, or something entirely new. It knows every children's story and will not stop recounting until the listener finally leaves. Excerpt from the counseling records. She may be the loneliest of all the abnormalities. She's filled with loneliness and tells her tales to fill that void. Well, every story needs a listener. When someone enters her room, she'll try to fill that void. Of course, listening to her is a very dangerous thing. She knows every story on Earth and even those that cannot possibly exist. Our minds can't cope with such things. She could fry your brain in an instant. I don't know, man. I don't feel like I like her that much. Her lore doesn't, like, really relate to her condition that well. I don't think, at least. Like, it doesn't make any sense that she does more psychic damage the longer you wait. Like, I'm putting her in C, I think. Oh, I do forget that she gives you a gun. Dearie, thank you for hanging out with me. Here's an unregistered firearm. Where is she? Grandma, there you are. We're putting you in the bottom of C right now. Nope, not gonna lie, we're putting you in D. Sorry. Not sorry. Yeah, D for depression. Deserved. D for deserved. Oh. Oh. Oh, I don't even have to... I mean, I'll read it, but Where are you? Super F. Oh, we need a new tier already. It gets its own tier. I literally named it baby. You can't even read it because it doesn't deserve a title. I hate this thing. This thing's the worst. This is the worst Abno. And I'm not joking. Hate. It cannot describe. What's that rant? Allarine? Nope, I hate the fetus more. Allarine sucks. I hate the fetus more. Anyway. It takes the form of an unborn fetus. Its skin is covered in a... Oh, I should probably read the first part. Object. Abnormality O-01-15. Nameless fetus. Abnormality class He. It takes the form of an unborn fetus. Its skin is covered in a mucus, sticky liquid. Small veins can be seen here and there. The abnormality's bulged eyes are usually closed. It always seems unsatisfied, but what exactly it needs is undetermined. It has a great obsession with being fed. And if it is not fed regularly, its stress levels rise drastically. Once it reaches a certain level of stress, it cries out loudly in a way that mentally harms all those who may be around it. Excerpt from interview log number 2-49. Employee F706. I've never seen it smile. It always seems to want something, but we can never fulfill its desire. I guess the reason why its cries are destructive is because its unsatisfied needs are so strong. When I was a newbie here, none of my colleagues would tell me exactly what we fed it. I thought it was just some weird milker, something like the other normal babies would eat up. It's a baby, after all, underneath that grossness. But that wasn't the case. It only eats human flesh. Can you believe it? To stop it from crying, we have to hold a drawing every so often. Do you know what that means? Excerpt from a terminated observation log. When I first heard that the nameless fetus had to be fed, I thought we were going to give it food with, like, a spoon or something. It looked too weak to do anything, and its mouth isn't fully developed either. Later, when I found out that it ate meat, I thought it had to be chewed up by someone first so it would be soft enough to eat. When I asked my working buddy about it, he laughed and said, "No way, that's ridiculous. We just need to leave the food in the unit and go." I still thought about how in the world that fetus could eat stuff. I wondered if we served it some kind of succulent steak that's not even available to us in the cafeteria. Out of curiosity, I decided to sneak a peek at the feeding process of the nameless fetus. Only level 3 and up employees were assigned to that process, but I was able to attend because I made up an excuse that I was covering for someone. As I nervously watched, wondering if my lie would be worth it, some people came along with large plastic bags. Does it eat that much? When they opened the bags, I could only gape in horror. They were human corpses, and the baby ate it. How? I don't even want to imagine it. It had a large scar on its stomach. I really thought it was some kind of scar, like a large flower its stomach would open, dripping with slimy liquid. It was the greediest creature in the world. That day onward, I was a vegetarian. What, did PETA inspire this one? Excerpt from an employee's diary. I'm Polly. I've worked at Lobotomy for about a month now. My employees are really proud of me for getting into a wing like this, and all my friends are jealous of me. I still make a lot of mistakes, but someday I'll be as capable as my coworkers. There's a special employees-only event held by our company. No one knows when or why this event is held. Even my coworker, who's been here 5 years, doesn't seem to know. When the event starts, a giant roulette begins to spin. Everybody stops what they're doing to stare at the roulette and see who will be the lucky winner, with desperate looks on their faces. The name of every employee is written on that roulette. Whoever ends up being selected, they're extremely lucky. They'll be promoted and transferred to another branch of the company. Headquarters. In addition, their family will be gifted an unimaginable fortune. At the headquarters, you don't have to worry about being attacked by abnormalities or need to bid farewell to your dead colleagues. My senior, redacted, really hopes that they'll get picked eventually. You see, their father got into an accident one day and it takes a lot of money to keep him alive and well. I really hope the roulette picks redacted someday. When my senior's name showed up on the roulette, I congratulated them with all my heart, though they didn't seem too happy for some reason. Others gave them a hug, about one by one. Everyone was crying for some reason. They said goodbye to me, shedding tears while trying to force a smile. I haven't seen them since. I'm sure they're working under much better conditions with a really nice salary, but when I tried to bring them up in conversation, people stopped talking as if I've spoken some sort of taboo. I still remember the last thing they said to me before they left. One day you'll understand the meaning of the desperation on their faces when the roulette spins. The manager holds a specific right to call an event for all employees in the facility without any cause for occasion. When the event starts, a giant roulette will spin and select one lucky employee's name. That employee will be promoted, transferred to a different branch, and their family will receive a yearly pension. No personnel are allowed to invade the manager's right to hold this event. The following information is forbidden to the public eye. Conditions required to hold the event. Data access restricted. Data access restricted. The crying of the nameless fetus has reached its peak. The roulette will select an employee that satisfies one of the conditions below. 1. Questions the true purpose of the company. 2. Conducts or plans unauthorized experiments with abnormalities. 3. Maintains an excessive curiosity about the abnormalities and conducts or plans unauthorized observation on them. 4. Is incapable of working due to physical or psychological trauma. Unauthorized signifies that it is unauthorized by corporation or Angela. So it's not actually random. Oh. Wow, there's layers to this. The following action will be taken with the employee selected by the roulette. Expunging all records the company has about the employee, sacrificing the employee to the abnormality, informing the employee's family that they have been transferred to another branch. Damn. Well, decent lore. The gameplay, it does have to be random, and it sucks, and I hate it. And this thing can die. And it deserves to be in super F baby tier. Hate the baby. Hate the baby. Hate the baby. What were some of the other suppression themes? Ooh, yeah. This one's good. We're gonna add this one to the playlist. Give me just a second. Sorry, everybody. We're doing Chezids now. We're switching up the BGM. Okay. Next, Abno. Lady facing the wall. Abnormality class F01-18. Abnormality class TEF. Abnormality records. An abnormality in the shape of a woman against the wall. Over time, her unbearable sorrow grew into a mournful obsession, covered in countless lengthy hairs. Sure, we can do song requests. Nothing, like, incredibly aggressive, but... As she is always facing the wall, not a single person has seen her face. While she occasionally talks to herself and weeps quietly, it is possible to have a meaningful conversation with her. Despite her human appearance, it is impossible to discern what she is really looking at or her true intentions. She will attempt to talk to or pique the interest of those who are about to leave the containment unit. However, one should not look back in response as it may cause mental damage. Certain rumors insist that one may turn to stone upon looking back, but this is clearly not true. excerpt from observation log. I-304. There's only one important rule to follow. Ignore her. She always tries to draw our attention. She mutters incoherently in an attempt to have those in the room pay closer attention to what she's saying. She'll even plead or whisper maliciously when someone is about to leave in hopes that they may instinctively look back. The subconscious is a threat to your own health in her presence. It is a threat to your own health in her presence. It is important to have your guard up and be aware of what is occurring when you are in the room with her. If you forget the warnings for even a second and let your guard down, you may find yourself looking back towards here. I have another warning to leave to all who read this. Do not let this insidious abnormality learn your name. If she learns your name, she may use it to trick you into turning around. No matter what you hear or what she may do to tempt you while you're in the room with her, do not, and I repeat, do not, and under any circumstances, look at her. Curiosity is a luxury you must never indulge in while you are in her containment unit. Excerpt from counseling log 9-39. Employee F5004, redacted, was a colleague and a friend of mine who I cared for deeply. Well, I cared for all my coworkers, but redacted was different. The amount of passion they poured into their work was something I rarely witnessed in life. Anyways, I have no idea how that abnormality, learned redacted's name. Maybe someone called it out to them while they were inside the containment unit and she learned it. Maybe should have sent 2 in for work with her. What? We should have sent 2 in for work with her. The common procedure was to have a team of 2 sent into the containment unit, but as you know, we're always shorthanded. Besides, that abnormality was low on the threat scale. If we followed the procedure and sent 2 inside, the powers that be would not have been happy about it one bit. Admitted. Well, you know the rest. The day the incident happened, Redacted was sent into the containment unit as usual, but they didn't come out for a long time. I know Redacted was a prompt and diligent worker, so I headed straight for the containment unit, fearing the worst. Thankfully, I found them without even a scratch, but the kid looked out of it, like, way out of it. The next day, the kid resigned. I heard they sent him to an asylum, but no one ever saw Redacted again. The kid just kept staring at the wall, murmuring and not responding to anyone. That was the last time I saw Redacted. No one knows what happened inside the containment unit. You won't find out from the kid either. Neat lore, but still a bland Abno. Yeah, she was really bland. Her ego gift was fine. Like, she's not terrible. She's just kind of, like, not interesting. What is this? Boss battle made in a French cafe. Okay. Oh, please tell me this saved our progress. Oh my god, I can't move back. Okay, it opened another tab. There we go. I'll save this in another screen. We're good. Okay. All right. Where's our lady facing the wall? I dislike her, but I don't dislike her that much. We're putting her in C. At least she has an okay gift. Well, actually, she doesn't even have any ego gift. She just has the weapon that we used in the early game. Like, she's fine because, like, literally if you don't do anything wrong with her, like, if you don't do anything wrong with her, she will never breach. And she has a nice ass. Like, I understand why they're having problems looking at her. Because, yeah, damn! Anyway. Next. She is a naked woman facing a wall. That is what she is. But she's very inspired by The Ring, because if you work with her using attachment work, she will, like you said, like with the name, she will breach and cause employees in the area to, like she'll cause a jump scare basically on the screen and do immense psychic damage to everyone in the area. Ah, the legend. Nothing there. Our first Aleph. Abnormality O-06-20. Nothing there. Abnormality class Aleph. Abnormality records. An abnormality whose appearance resembles a human but cannot and should not be human. It periodically devours employees and wears their shell. The skeleton and organs are misplaced during the process, so it takes a bizarre form. The abnormality does have a tongue, however, it has no knowledge of speech, and as such cannot talk, it can only make meaningless sounds. There is no telling what is inside its shell, but its skin continuously wears down, so there is a need to change and maintain the outer layer. It is insensible to pain. It may break its own bones or cut itself up to escape through a small crevice. Bit by bit, we discover that this abnormality may be evolving. It demonstrates behavior similarly to the character of the person who used to be its shell. It even makes attempts to equate itself with human beings. When it escapes, it wears the skin of the person kills and mimics them. Then, without any sign or forewarning, it reveals its true/second form. In its true/second form, its resemblance is much similar to that of humanity in comparison to its earlier form. The new form is confirmed to possess bipedalism, properly aligned organs, and the addition of greater physical strength. All the employees are afraid of this form. A warning of something. It has been confirmed that it has escaped and stood on 2 feet. If it has been confirmed that it has escaped and stood on 2 feet, there is only one thing you can do. Straighten up your posture, gather your hands neatly, and pray to whatever you believe in, and observe the situation as it unfolds. Excerpt from counseling log. Just like how we observe other abnormalities as employees, nothing there observes us. Then it puts on the shell of an employee and thinks of itself as the employee that just died. The sight of that thing eating one of us is horrifying beyond words. Just trying to think about it might drive me mad. Heading to its containment to check the state of its shell is toil on your mind too. Imagine that a colleague of yours who you chatted with only a few days ago is now sitting in that room, neck snapped, guts exposed, walking on all fours, drooling like a beast. Omitted. That's not all. When I was still a new employee, no one else was willing to enter its containment unit, so I was forced to go work with it. It looked even worse than it does now. It was in the shape of a horribly deformed human. What's worse is it tried to mimic humans, doing stuff like looking into a mirror, mumbling to itself, or trying to fix its skeletal structure as if it was trying to mimic us. Who knows? It might get good enough to casually walk among us one day. Warning. Only employees level 3 or higher are permitted to read this document. This recording is of a call from the containment unit's emergency phone. Phone systems are installed in every room of the abnormalities of risk level E or higher to enable quick threat response. Employee 1. Please pick up, please pick up. This is containment unit of nothing there. The emergency response department, ERD. Hello, this is the emergency response team. What is the problem? Employee 1. I need a stun gun right now. There's an emergency happening right now. Can you please specify the reason? The abnormality... Sounds of something breaking can be heard. It's ripping up the employee. Excuse me? It's killing my colleague. We'll respond immediately. Please identify the employee being attacked. It's... Wait 1 second. Their names acted. Control team. I'm redacted. Also control team. Confirmed. What's currently happening to your colleague at this exact moment? Yeah, please just hurry. We need a weapon to control the abnormality. A loud noise can be heard, presumably the scream of the colleague. Oh god, this is... What's happening? The abnormality is attacking my colleague. It's literally ripping them apart. I can't do anything. I repeat, we need a weapon to control the abnormality. The emergency response team has been dispatched. They'll arrive shortly. Omitted. Redacted. What's happening now? Is it still attacking your colleague? Yeah. Oh no, I think it's done now. Has it stopped attacking? No, I mean, my colleague's... He's dead. Yeah, he's dead all right. How can you be so sure? Well, it's because he looks... He's... Has he been ripped up somehow? What body parts are damaged? All of them. Excerpt from counseling log. Just like how we observe abnormalities as employees, nothing there observes us. It then puts on the shell of an employee and thinks of itself as the employee that just died. It mimics the employee's usual behavior, the way they talk, likes and dislikes, and every other visible trait. We can only guess how carefully and for how long it's been observing the employees to imitate them. What I'm trying to say is we can't treat it like some dumb, scary monster. Even now, it could be strolling about wearing the shell of someone we know. This abnormality is becoming more and more like a human. Its transformation is getting faster too. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. If the time comes when we even fail to recognize it, that will be the day this company falls. We must stay ever vigilant when dealing with this abnormality. The following is a recording of abnormal behavior an employee exhibited in their last moments after they became a shell of nothing there. Yeah, it's not very fun. This thing is annoying, to say the least. Like, no, if you do work with it and, like, no one dies, it's great. But in the game, if it is able to escape with someone's shell, you basically have to play a mini game of like 30 seconds to 10 seconds to neutralize the employee that it just ate, or otherwise it bursts into its true form. And you're not killing the true form. It's 5 seconds. Yeah, it was insanely fast. Like, this thing is nuts. Not fun to deal with. Anyway, recording of the abnormal behavior an employee exhibited in their last moments after they became a shell. Employee 1. Manager! Manager! Employee 2. Man, you've been looking for the manager quite a while now. You've been acting really weird today, you know? With that smile and all. Employee 1. Employee 2. Anyhow, I sure hope we get pasta in the cafeteria for dinner today. I'd love some of that with thick bacon. Employee 1. Employee 2. Oh, we just got an emergency notice. It says the last employee working with nothing there should get to the counselor's office immediately. Employee 1. Employee 2. Wait, wasn't that you? Employee 1. Employee 2. Hey, say something. Employee 1. Manager! 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 The second employee proceeded to take immediate action upon hearing that. However, nothing there tore out of the shell of the first employee, revealing its beginning form. The recording also includes audio files, so what exactly happened or what kind of behavior the employee exhibited still remains a mystery. The shell with nothing there inside tries its best to mimic the behavior of the employee it tried to kill moments ago. The actions of the last employee it eyed, their final words, those sorts of things. And many of the shells cried out one word. Manager. Damn! Well, that's a tough one to end on. Oh, man. This thing's ego gift. It looks so ugly, but I guess that's the point. This thing's ego gift did help me a lot. That's a zinger of an end. That's a good end to that log. Alright, nothing there. You take your deserved spot at A tier. There you go, buddy. Congratulations. It's actually pretty nice with other monstrous egos. Yeah, it is pretty nice. It's pretty alright. I don't like its look that much. I also hate that it's whispering "I love you" whenever you like give it an employee. And I also hate its breathing. We're ranking logs and the abnos like as they're combined, because I haven't read the logs, so now I'm officially ranking all the abnos based on my experience. All right. Next, abno. T-06-27. Abnormality class Teth. 1.76 megahertz. Abnormality records. This abnormality is a phenomenon with no visible form. It was discovered when an employee began to exhibit shared symptoms when entering a specific area of the facility. They all suffered from hallucinations of a specific nature and their mental corruption increased. After setting a radio's frequency to 7.16 megahertz, we waited. Following 12 minutes, a mysterious voice was heard through the static. It was difficult to make out what it was saying, but it appeared to be in distress and was asking for help. 17 minutes in, the voice stopped and 3 loud explosions were heard, which were then followed by 2 smaller explosions. It can be assumed that the situation the voice was in was chaotic, and it's based on the various levels of screaming that could be heard. 23 minutes in, all was silent. Once 25 minutes had passed, the radio began to emit smoke. We thought the machine had fried, but no fault could be found. Continuing past 30 minutes, everyone in the area was suddenly filled with rage and started to exhibit the desire to assault one another with extreme aggression. Following the incident, all employees who took part refused to seek counseling. We couldn't make it mandatory as no one was injured. It is still unknown what caused the collective rage. Afterwards, unknown noises and hallucinations started to occur near the containment unit. This is a recording of the day we must never forget. It brings us to a chaotic place, forgotten by many, that must never be forgotten. The recording... forgotten? Forgotten? Is that... Am I nuts? Is that Gregor's canto? Is this the... Oh, this is the smoke war. This is the smoke war. 'Cause the smoke. And the war, and it's tied to like war broadcasts and stuff like that. Oh, this is the smoke war. So this is spawned as a part of that. Which means it is tied to Gregor. Okay. So that is really important then. So this is an abnormality that manifested from the distress of the smoke war. Interesting. A war survivor that was likely turned into an abno. That makes sense. Really interesting. Okay. Because I forget all of these used to be humans. Yeah, bro became a whole frequency. Okay. Alright, interesting. I personally just like this thing because it was easy to work with, and we did a ton of justice training with it. I also like concept abnormalities, because it's something that isn't explored much, because most of the SCP influence in this game comes through, like, physical SCPs. So I like when they step out of their boundary and try to do a little bit more with it. Also, its breach is really interesting, because it doesn't really do anything, it's just kind of annoying. And it fades up everything, so I like it. I'll take it. There you go, buddy. Congratulations. Oh, singing machine. Alright, abnormality O-05-30, the singing machine. Abnormality class He. Abnormality records. It takes the form of a long cuboid machine. At first glance, it seems to be a simple industrial grinder. However, the existence of it having an individual will meets the criteria to be classified as an abnormality. When approached or touched, the employee will become delirious and throw themselves into the abnormality's mechanical body. Afterward, the machine's ventilation fan will quickly shut off and the sound of the abnormality operating can be heard from within. The process takes about 5 minutes. After a few experiments, we have concluded that the abnormality desires to gain music from this interaction. There is no detailed research into this abnormality's music, however. There is a hypothesis that it has a special characteristic that attracts humans in correlation to their specific behaviors or psychological counseling records. If one of our employees has been determined to be addicted to music, they will need to be treated quickly to prevent any collateral damage. Excerpt from counseling log. I just wanted to write the observation report and get out, but he was acting odd. I warned him to not get too close, but Redacted took one step closer. He said he'll let me hear a fantasy. Then he opened the lid and jumped into the machine. The lid closed and a loud noise came from inside the creature. There was no way of knowing what was happening, but I was too terrified to do anything. Omitted. In the dark, I realized that thing was playing as an instrument, crushing and cutting Redacted's body. It was creating a rhythm. As I was contemplating my horrific realization, the lid opened again. Bits and pieces of Redacted were in there, so little that you had to wonder what happened to the rest. Notice must read symptoms of addiction to the music of singing machine. Attempts to bring other employees to the containment unit of singing machine by physical force. Dilated pupils, greatly reduced concentration and cognitive abilities, refusal to listen to other forms of music. Please list any additional symptoms that are found and immediately report any employees that are suspected of the following of the noted symptoms. Excerpt from the incident logs. Date XX XXXXXX. Employee M1840 went missing in the company. 2 days later, on the XX part of a corpse was found inside the singing machine. Genomic analysis revealed that the corpse belonged to the missing employee. The employee was a new hire who had only worked at the company for 3 months, and they had no record of an assignment to work with the abnormality. The culprit was found to be employee Redacted, who was in charge of the singing machine. Redacted confessed after extensive investigation. I know it's crazy, but I had to hear the music again. It was stuck in my head for months. I performed all kinds of experiments. When the machine takes in a cat, it plays for 1 minute, a large dog 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but nothing could compare to the music it makes when it eats a human. It might sound ridiculous, but I feel satisfied having heard it once more. All right. This thing is... I hate it. This thing's a pain in the ass to work with. I don't particularly have any draw towards it as, like, an abnormality. Yeah, Smoke War was, before L Corp. So yeah, in the timeline, the Smoke War was a part of, L Corp's founding. Gregor's old enough that he was a part of that, because when he was a part of the Smoke War, he was very young. He was a young buck, and now he's an old fart. Well, he's not really that old, but he's still a DILF type. We're putting you in low C. You know what? Actually, D. High D. Sorry. Your ego gift is pretty unique, but because you suck to work with so much, we're putting you in high D. Okay, anyway. Oh, speaking of suckage. Abnormality T-01-13, the Silent Orchestra. Object class Aleph. Abnormality Records, an abnormality that loves art and tries to get the entire company to listen to its music. Excerpt from an encyclopedia. The conductor not only corrects musical errors, but is also responsible for creating the best ensemble and taking command of the music. A conductor's skill can be determined within 5 minutes at the podium. The moment the conductor opens the score, the performers read the conductor's eyes, actions, and aura to see if the person is worthy to lead them. Without the understanding and harmony between them, the macroscopic significance contained in the score cannot be expressed. Therefore, an outstanding degree of influence, leadership, and eloquence are essential qualities for a conductor to have. Omitted. First movement, calm and slow. The conductor begins to direct the apocalypse. Movements 2 through 4, cheerful and fast. Employees start to forget everything and show fervent adoration towards the symphony. The emotion soon turns to internal insanity, driving them to attack anyone near them. The orchestra gives impotence to the music, bringing the entire department to its demise. When all the performers have gathered, the music that no one can hear but everyone can listen to begins. Finale. The music shall perforate your entire being. I don't like it. It's kind of cool, but for an Aleph? Like, I don't think I've ever had someone die to this. When it breaches, all it does is just drain all the energy out of your facility. That's it. Like, it is annoying by kicking you in the nuts. That's all it is. Great ego gift. Great ego weapons. I can't justify putting this anything higher than B. Maybe I'm almost tempted for C. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna lie. High C. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe we'll move it. You know what? Above Scorched Girl. How about that? We'll do that. There we go. All right, next, Warm-Hearted Woodsman. Abnormality F-05-32. Abnormality class He. A mechanical abnormality whose humanoid body is composed entirely of galvanized steel. It holds a giant axe with both hands, but does not show any activity, as if it's unable to move. The friends were imperfect in one way or another, so they helped each other out to fill what they were lacking and embarked on a journey to make their wishes come true. The Scarecrow wanted a brain, the Tin Woodsman wanted a heart, and the Cowardly Lion wanted courage, and Dorothy wanted to return home. The one they thought to be the Great Wizard instead gave the Woodsman a lead heart. But you're a machine! That means you were built to serve humans, don't you understand? Machines don't need a heart. Good job making it all the way here, though. Take this as compensation. Be sure to tell everyone waiting for you that your wish definitely came true. Some left with satisfaction. The friends departed and were never to be seen again. The hard, cold lead was depressing. The Tin Woodsman couldn't agree with this. In anger, he swung his axe through the wizard's heart. The warm heart was pulsing vigorously. He shoved the lead into the wizard's now empty chest. For the first time in his life, the woodsman started laughing at the sight and felt a pleasure he never had felt before. Grabbing a chunk of the mushy heart, he shoves it into his chest. There will never be enough hearts. Once a woodsman, he now fells people instead of trees. This is a forest full of hearts. No matter how many he cuts down, the forest still remains dense. A kind person would carry a warmer heart. When the heart is lost, the woodsman will fall to his knees in sorrow, clutching his empty chest. as if it were begging for the only thing he has left not to be taken. You really think A? Only way to restore Woodsman counter is to let him kill someone. Oh, so he gets their heart. That makes sense. I forgot about that. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I don't really know, man. What the hell is this? Where's Woodsman? I wonder if some of these are beta abnos. I'll put you in B, sure. No, you kind of piss me off, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like interacting with you. You're only good because of your lore, which puts you in the Teddy tier. So I'm putting you next in C. Oh yeah, there's Training Dummy. I forgot there's a couple random ones. Where is Training Dummy? I just saw him. There he is. Best boy. Yeah, I know he won't breach until you send someone to him, but still. It means that working, like, getting him progress, it means you have to send one person a day. And I ain't doing that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. You know what? There's nothing wrong with your opinion, Squidlouie. There's nothing wrong with your opinion. My opinion is just gonna be different than yours. Alright. Abnormality F-01-37, the Snow Queen. Abnormality class, he. A queen that lives alone in the frosty winter forest. Like how every story starts, Kai was a child with a kind heart. When the shards of a mirror made by an evil fairy were scattered on everyone's heart, Kai began to see things he didn't want to see, or need to see. He left the small village he grew up in. In an unforgiving blizzard, Kai met the Snow Queen. He became curious of the world beyond his knowledge. He felt as though everything he knew amounted to so little. The snow palace he reached at was so cold, but the Snow Queen's kiss froze his heart, and he couldn't feel the cold anymore. There was no joy in the palace, only the long winter night. Gerda was strong enough to remain unpierced by the mirror, and brave enough to go on a journey to rescue Kai, so she set off towards the snow palace. The journey was agonizing. Gerda was hurt and pained. Sometimes she cried. However, eventually Gerda met Kai. Spring arrived with blossoming roses. Its warmth melted the Snow Queen's palace, and the peace of a mirror in Kai's heart evaporated without a trace. Then, left all alone, the Snow Queen omitted. I remember the day we put her in the cryo coffin with our own hands. At some point, her joyous laughter was gone. She just cycled through laughing and crying, and eventually she was found in the bathtub soaked in red with her wrist cut. We did not believe in death. We have her reconstructed from the machines. Or I will have her reconstructed from the machines I have detested for my entire life, but have become the only answer. She would have been disgusted by me for this, dying in that bathtub. However, we were too far down the road, filled with remorse and regret to feel any sort of guilt. One day, it spoke to me. I remember you. You were a kind-hearted person. The moment I heard it, I was seized with the urge to destroy what I had created with my 2 hands. So, obviously, this last section is Ian talking about Carmen. Definitely, 100%. But why is it related to Carmen? One day it spoke to me. I remember you. You were a kind-hearted person. How though? Because Carmen's nervous system is the well, or the bucket. Carmen's nervous system is the bucket. So, what's it? What's speaking to him? So is it trying to say that Angela is the Snow Queen? Oh, the moment I heard it, I was seized with the urge to destroy what I had created with my own hands. Because Ian hated Angela. Ian didn't like Angela. Because Angela reminded him so much of Carmen. The opposite of everything that Carmen stood for, but she was too valuable to lose. Just an agent that likely praised her. So that's why it's tied to it. Yeah, I guess so. So obviously, so this is tied to Carmen, which means that this abnormality was probably an agent in its past life. Or someone that knew Carmen. Oh. Wow, damn. That's messed up. Why would he have turned into Snow Queen, though? Would an Abno be, like, distorting? So... I don't understand quite how... Like, distortion can be brought on purposefully. I think abnormality... It's a controlled process. But... Because a distortion is caused, like, internally. And is... But once a distortion goes on long enough, you become an abnormality. An Abno is from Cogito. Cogito... What? How did Cogito work again? Because Cogito is the things that are in the back of the mind that exist in everyone's mind. So, like, which is why you need the bucket to bring out Cogito. And then the abnormalities produce enkphalin, which enkphalin can be produced also from the spinal cords of humans, as described by Faust from Limbus Company when Mephistopheles needs to be recharged. So Cogito is like super enkphalin that can be brought out into the form of an abnormality. And then the abnormalities can produce Ankfallen because they are, like, manifestations of concepts and ideas that form through cogito. Yeah. Which is why abnormalities are so... The cogito modifies someone into their mind. Which is why they're able to create so much Ankfallen as an energy source. Because they're basically making themselves their mind. Strongest conviction is manifested. Much like distortion, how a distortion can shape someone's, Oh, but yeah, distortions are from improper seeds of light, so it's a weaker form of... So it's a weaker form of abnormality manifestation. Distortions die, abnormalities can't. Yes. Because you can't kill an idea. You can't kill an idea, which is why an abnormality can't die. Which is why their ideas, concepts, higher things than just a sin. Than just someone's, like, personal experiences. Because Snow Queen, in a way, is a manifestation of love and the opposition to love. The idea, the desire to rescue someone. And what happens to the individual. Like, it's a manifestation of a lot of things. Like, rescuing someone from someone else. Taking someone away. Leaving something behind. There's a lot of things that this could be a manifestation of. She's basically the Angela Abno. The Snow Queen. Yeah, I mean, the cold-hearted individual. Like, if we read this in the way... If we read this in, like, you flip this, Gerda is Ayan in a way. Because, like how every story starts, Kai was a child with a kind heart. So this is like Angela. Or not Angela, but Carmen. When the shards of the mirror made an evil fairy tale were scattered around everyone's heart, Carmen began to see things that she didn't want to see or need to see. She left the small village they grew up in an unforgiving blizzard. Carmen met the Snow Queen, so... Like, in a way, so Carmen became Angela. And froze their heart. So, like, in a way, Angela killed Carmen. In a way. In more of a theoretical sense. Yeah. Because Angela replaced Carmen. Because even though she was created from Carmen, she became herself. And in the end, Ayan, who's Gerda in this case, came and rescued Carmen through the manifestation of the Seed of Light. Freeing her from her role as the bucket. And then, all alone was the Snow Queen, Angela. That makes sense. Its warmth melted the Snow Queen's palace, a Lobotomy corporation. So that's what this is. Blossoming roses, the tree of light, budding. Okay, I can see the subtext now. I can see the subtext. This makes sense. Okay, anyway. Still not, I mean, we got Rogan and Joel to kiss, which is like forbidden love, so I don't know. Maybe we can put this somewhere. Just for making out. Yeah, I don't care for her that much. Like, it's an interesting way to, like, think about framing the story, but I don't like her that much. She's another Abno that's carried by lore. Yeah. I'm putting her in C tier, atop of C tier. Why are you up here? You're here because of your, like, cool ego. Yeah. Here, I'm gonna move things around. I'm putting Snow Queen in B tier, but bottom of B. Simply because Joel and Rogan kissed and I liked it. Anyway. Continuing! I can't dwell too long on this. It's just fun theorizing. Oh my gosh, I've never gotten to do this with a game before. This is so fun. This is why I like Project Moon games, because there's so much to, like, analyze and break down, whereas, like, everyone has figured out, quote unquote, like so many other games, but because there's so many layers of subtext and things tied together, like, anything could be anything in a Project Moon game, and I love it. Okay, anyway. I yap too much. Here we go. -02-40, Big Bird. Abnormality class, wow. A large many-eyed bird that patrols the dark forest with an everlasting lamp. Unlike regular birds, it lacks wings and has long arms instead, with which it can pick things up. Omitted. Would stare intensely at anyone it found, young or old, and bite their head off. There's a tale of a beast that lies in the deepest, darkest part of the forest who dazzles creatures away, never to be seen again. To protect all creatures from the beast, the big bird burned all of its feathers to make a wick, and then made a lamp that would burn forever. With this eternally lit lamp, the big bird wandered the forest, warning the creatures not to stray too deep into the trees. Thanks to the large bird, fewer creatures fell victim to the beast in the forest. However, it was still concerned for the creatures still being killed by the beast. An idea struck the big bird's mind. If I kill the creatures first, then no one would be killed by the beast. Since then, only rumors of a beast that would bite your head off flew around the dark forest. It is said that the beast carefully examines and stares at its victims to see if they are the beast that lures helpless creatures away. This is a tale from a town in the location redacted area. We heard probably the outskirts. We heard the tale from the town's oldest inhabitant, redacted. Although there is a general assumption that the tale was told to prevent children from entering the forest, it is uncertain who first inherited the tale. We can't do anything while the abnormality has its eyes open. It stares intently as it keeps staring. Omitted. This is why we need to put it to sleep first. We can only begin working when all of its numerous dozens of eyes have entered into slumber. And it turns out that tale was not made up. We could find this large bird in the forest. Right after that, we tried to look for the beast that dazzles people. We searched through every nook and cranny of the forest, investigated every single creature in detail. A month later, we came to the conclusion there was no such beast in the forest, except for that big bird. This abnormality is completely ignorant of the common perception of death. The abnormalities that reside in this corporation can be placed into two different categories. The first category is those who understand perfectly well the concept and meaning of death is, and will attack our staff with the intent to kill. The second has those who are aware of the concept of death, but attack without malicious intent. This abnormality we have contained here fits into neither of the two categories. To this bird, death itself is salvation. If it just ripped the head off a poor little girl who got lost in the forest, to it there was no mistake, malice, or murder. It just thinks it's saving the girl from the beast. What a tragic dude. He's too big for B tier. That's pretty good. I like the fact that Big Bird is a abnormality that has existed. He's implied to be an abnormality that's existed before Lobotomy Corporation, which is very interesting to me. Either that or he is a manifestation of something from... He's a manifestation of the people's stories from the forest. But he does seem to have existed in the outside world, which is why he has one of those weird... Why he has the weird interactions with the other birds. Because none of the other abnormalities can do that. It's like these coexisted. It may be a manifestation of folklore. However, you have to note, he doesn't have the F prefix. Abnormalities that are related to fairy tales have an F prefix. I don't know what the O stands for. I can't remember. But all abnormalities related to fairy tales have an F prefix. So this implies that he's different in some way. But I don't know. I do think I'm going to put him pretty high. One, because I'm a bird and I'm biased. And two, because I love my son. O just stands for other. Okay. I'll just drink some water and get ripping. We'll make it. I believe in us. I've been slacking. I need to just... Plus, a lot of these are tools, so we'll rip through those really fast. Here, you want it? See, like, this is a tool. 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 This is bald. This is a tool, but it's actually like a kind of interesting tool. This is a tool. See, like once we get the tools out of the way, things look a lot better, don't they? I mean, we will. I'm just putting them in super F right now. Just to prove that we have... We'll get through this easy. We just haven't ran into many tools yet. Okay. F them tools. Speaking of, I don't know. Speaking of effing them tools, I'm gonna take a drink of water. I forgot to put some water in my cup before this stream, so I've been doing this whole stream no-throated. So I'm needing some water. My throat is parched. I'm so parched. Squillowy just gets infested. It's okay, Bucky, will you make tea for Squillowy? You make tea? You make tea? You make tea? Can you make tea? Make tea! Make tea! Did you see that yawn? He's so sleepy. He's so sleepy. Okay, anyway, let's continue. All-around helper. T-05-41. A white cleaning robot with distinct red eyes that look like a pair of buttons. It always keeps its surroundings neat and tidy. It was originally a mass-produced robot helper intended for domestic use. The writing on its back says, an innovative invention that can clean, cook, and even serve as light security using various tools to touch its limbs, built to perform efficiently and quickly. Manufactured by XX Inc. So this is like X Corp? It recognizes a bad mood as a sign that the surroundings are dirty and promptly enters cleaning mode. It will alert its status by stating lines such as contamination detected, commencing cleaning. However, the limbs are equipped with sharp instruments instead of cleaning supplies. Rumor has they were supposed to be used for cutting meat, but they were made to respond to the clean command by accident. There is no way to confirm whether this was true. It has determined that the screaming humans make after it cleans is a sign of a job well done and a prompt to continue its cleaning. An audio record found within the robot. Oh, it's the helper robot. Let me see. I want to see. You want to touch it? Then try turning it on and play with it. A phone rings. I'll be right back after I get the phone, okay? Sounds a button being pressed. Helper robot. Hello, I am your friendly helper robot. How may I serve you? Cleaning! I want to help mommy cleaning! Helper robot. Environment contamination 70%. Filth level mild. Commencing cleaning mode. Wow, it's cleaning! It's clean! After a few seconds of shrieking, the power abruptly went out. He's alright. Why do we all hate him? Why do we all hate the helper, bro? What's wrong with this dude? He's just a funny little fella. Clerk Blunder is kind of boring. Yeah, he's not. He's alright. He's not that great, though. There's nothing really special about him, but he doesn't suck to have in the facility. So I'm gonna put him in the low C. I'm just gonna put this in the tools tier for now. Alright. Let us continue. Snow White's apple. F-04-42. Wow. When the prince kissed the princess, she coughed up the bits of an apple stuck in her throat. The dwarves cried out in happiness. Snow White and the prince walked through a flower-covered path and headed to their kingdom. Everyone lived happily ever after. Then there was the apple created from the witch's wrath and curse. It was also part of herself, the apple that dropped from Snow White's hand after a single bite. Could never be happy. The apple, full of loneliness and hatred towards the princess, waited for the day it would rot away and return to the earth. Was it the enchantment, or was it the wrath with which was bending the laws of nature? Even after enough time had passed for it to rot and allow for its seed to bear fruit, the apple did not rot. In the meantime, one half of it was kicked and crushed by someone's foot. The other half was filled with holes, eaten away like the likes of birds and bugs. The carcasses of birds and bugs piled up near the apple. The apple pondered about its existence in the midst of the corpses rotting around it. One day, a branch grew from it. The leaves and branches were already withered and dry, but it continued to grow. Finally, one afternoon, the apple gained the ability to move on its own. It thought the princess and the prince who left. It thought of the princess and prince who left happily. Snow White had been sleeping for a long time, but the prince came and woke her up. The apple, now a princess in its own right, no longer needed a prince. She began to embark on a journey. Excerpt from The Hidden Stories and Fairy Tales No One Knew, author unknown. So it is a fairy tale abnormality. What a weird abno. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's really, this thing is really a solid C for me. I got it, and it just, I don't feel anything towards it. It just kind of is there. Like, this is a really solid C for me, which at this point puts it in a B, and like the low part of B. Like, I don't have any problem with it. I just don't feel any draw towards it. If anything, it puts it in like the top of C. Like, it just kind of is there. Like, it's breached, but when it breached, it was never problematic. It and Helper are gonna go in the same place. Like, wherever it and Helper are gonna go in the same place. I don't feel anything particularly about their, well, I like this one's lore more, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll populate the C tier, and then we'll figure out if I want to move something around. Okay. Give me just a second here. Just trying to do something quick. Trying to change up our music. There we go. Per requested earlier by Ronan. Okay, let's continue. Abnormality log, Spiderbud T-02-43. Class Teth. An abnormality that takes the form of a giant spider guarding its domain in darkness. It is difficult to see the abnormality with bare eyes. Small spiderlings skitter along the floor. Our proud employee Peter entered the abnormalities containment unit one day. When he shone the flashlight on the floor, small little spiders skittered away from the light. When Peter squashed one of the spiderlings by accident, a giant spider descended from the ceiling. Peter was dragged into the ceiling in only a moment. The cocooned employee hanging off the ceiling of the containment unit would be a healthy meal for the spider's offspring. Unsurprisingly, not a single employee volunteered to retrieve the corpse of their cocooned colleague. Excerpt from an animal encyclopedia. A fact often overlooked by many is that victims trapped in the spider's cocoon are not actually dead. The prey is in fact slowly dying within. Their death is postponed so that they can be kept as fresh as possible for later consumption. A spider's poison contains a toxin that permanently damages the heart, eventually leading to death. Insects trapped in the pitch-black cocoons have no choice but to wait for the spiderlings to feed on them, feeling their heartbeat slower and slower. Omitted. Excerpt from the head of Welfare Department's letter. We do appreciate your suggestion, however, our own research indicates that your concerns are unlikely to be true. Furthermore, it is proven that the presence of a cocoon in the containment unit increases the energy output. For these reasons, we will not implement a rescue procedure for employees who are caught by spider bugs, as it is against our interests. However, we will allocate more resources into researching this specimen in the future, per your opinion. Please be advised that disrupting the atmosphere of our workplace by spreading unconfirmed rumors is against the code of conduct, and may even be subject to penalties including dismissal. Lobotomy always values the welfare and voices of its employees. Out of the welfare department. There's an eerie rumor spreading among employees. It's not out of the ordinary for a rumor or two to spread in a company like this, but it is interesting that the number of alleged witnesses seems to multiply. The rumor says the following. Whispers can be heard in the containment unit at night. It was the voice of Alex, who went missing a few days ago. They say the voice wept in terror, asking to be saved from the darkness. I mean, it's just a spider. He's alright. He's another... In my opinion, he's another, like, I'm putting him right in the damn middle. He only gets a buff because Gabura uses his gear. I'm putting him right in the damn middle. Wherever we decide that, like, these two go, they're going together. Where he just kind of exists. He doesn't breach, so he's not a problem, but he's just kind of there. And I don't really feel anything towards him. And I don't know, his Abno log isn't really that good. Like, he's not... like, he's fine for things. I don't know, we'll just put him there for now. We'll continue. Beauty and the Beast. Oh, wow, this is a big one. A F0244. Teth. A self-loathing abnormality that spends every day letting out miserable screams. It wishes to break the cycle of the curse, but there is no way to do so. Beauty was once a fair lady with charming green eyes. One day, this poor lady learns of a job opening at the manor of the Count, with the promise of a hefty payment. The Count had a monstrous appearance. Rumor says that anyone who dares to enter his manor is never seen again. It must be hideous. It must be that hideous monster preying on people. With that thought in her mind, she brought a very sharp knife with her. The lady was hired and worked at the manor. Contrary to rumor, the monster was nowhere to be seen. Sometimes at night she could hear a voice, but it was very kind and compensated her for her troubles handsomely. Working in the manor, the lady bore a greedy thought. If the Count was gone, I could take all his possessions for myself. One day she went to the Count's room. The Count that she was instructed to never enter. The room that she was instructed to never enter during the day. There she saw the Count's true form. He was truly horrendous. Hundreds of eyes, 4 legs, and was neither human nor animal. The lady thought, perhaps such a hideous monster would be better off if it didn't exist. She proceeded to stab the beast with her knife. Surprisingly, the beast laughed in its last moments. Before the lady could even ask why it was laughing, she began to change. Hundreds of eyes formed and a thick coat of fur grew on her. Soon she turned into the beast. Now the manor and all its riches belongs to her. Rumor says that anyone who dares enter the Count's manor is never seen again. The Beauty and the Beast. That's a cool turn on the story. I like it. It's a weird abnormality, but I like this story. I don't like working with it. It sucks. But that makes sense why repression kills the employee. That's a really neat story. I like that one. This is another Abno that's carried by its story. So we're putting it... We're putting it here with 1.78. Okay. That's one of the stories that's been like, wow, it's actually really cool. I like stories that make me go, wow. Like I'm Owen Wilson or something. Wow. Okay. Let's see, what's our next one? I'm switching between things and I'm doing a terrible job. Oh, man. Plague Doctor. O-01-45 Zayn. Wears a black fedora and a beaked mask, has huge wings instead of arms or legs. It is capable of human communication, though it prefers to talk little. It came to the facility by itself, claiming that the world has contracted a dreadful disease, only it is able to cure. We could not find anything about this disease it refers to. It seems to like treating employees when they are injured or sick. It shows satisfaction when helping others, and it seems to be quite sympathetic and benevolent. Even after a week of observation, we found no aggression, violence, or attempts to escape. Only contributions to the assumption that this abnormality is eminently gentle. 12 of our employees used this word to describe the creature, and good for us. Employee Alex, who had a serious scar on his forehead from subduing an abnormality, walked into this abnormality's chamber with his scar recovery incomplete. The abnormality, which normally isn't loquacious, started talking as soon as it saw the employee's scar. Observation record 1. The abnormality asked, "Why have you not treated that scar?" Alex replied, "I had no time, so I gave it a little bit of first aid." Then the plague doctor answered, "I shall heal you, curing you of all disease and injury you possess." Alex came out of the chamber with his scar completely healed. Oop. Okay, I mean, like, we can't really... This is a weird one where he's tied so closely to White Knight. T-03-49 Aleph. It takes the form of a newborn fetus, though the appearance is so grossly grotesque, it's hard to even call it a fetus. While communication is possible, it doesn't occur in a normal way. Every word he utters echoes through the entire containment unit. "My disciples, whom I blessed, ye shall leave the way of evil that ye once were following and find me. When the time comes, I shall forgive your sins and descend to the earth ye are living on." The 12 employees who were blessed by him will transform and roam the facility to deliver redemption to every single employee. Wings will grow from their backs, and they will wear masks in the shape of beaks and bear crosses that forgive all sins. "Follow my teachings, as I told ye. Thou wilt abandon flesh and be born again." His disciples will be born again as ones who shall reach out to those far away from the light, ones who shall embrace their neighbors, missionaries who shall spread the gospel to all their followers. They are... But the time has come. Soon the bell shall ring. A new world will rise. Rise, my servants, rise and serve me. I am death and life, darkness and light. It seems like there's a surprisingly little amount of lore between these two. It's like false prophet turned into God. I don't even know what to say for these two. God, why am I yawning? F me. Like, it's a cool gimmick for an abnormality. I'll say that much. Where's Plague Doctor? Because White Knight is... Like, it's such a shocking thing to happen for the first time. I kind of wish I wasn't, like, spoiled on... Like, I knew Plague Doctor would be bad, but I didn't know, like, how bad. Or, like, what he would do. Plague gets a buff for being loquacious. I'm gonna put them together because they're very unique. simply because of their gimmick, I'm putting them in A. They suck to have in the facility, but because they're the, like, one of the, I think the only transforming abnormality, and it's very interesting, I'm going to put them in A. They don't have great lore, they kind of suck to work with, but they're cool. And for that, they've earned their place in A. Congratulations, boys. Congratulations, boys! Oh god, it's you. An old card attached to the abnormality. Merry Christmas! Santa rushes along the night sky to deliver presents to happy kids who don't cry. Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, shines his nose so bright through the fog while tugging along a sleigh full of presents, guiding it along tonight. Every kid around the world deserves a present. From afar, the abnormality resembles Santa Claus atop his sleigh, but upon closer inspection is completely different from the description in common folklore. Contrary to the titular character Rudolph, the sleigh drags the reindeer along. We observe the three different proportions of the abnormality separately. Rudolph, an organic entity in colors green, red, and white, appears to be a horse or a deer. Its muscles do not seem to move, but many of our staff reports movements in the eyes. Some even say that they're made eye contact with it. There's a 30-centimeter diameter hole in its abdomen. Armed employees later reported that the hole was empty. Santa, a mysterious, transparent, organic entity on top of Rudolph. It is full of what seems to be human organs, all of which function normally. The sleigh, the size similar to that of a child's. The plating looks like organic skin, and there are white runners attached to the bottom. The accessories of the sleigh are replaced with stiff, severed hands. Unknown objects are carefully wrapped in gifts. Many employees tried to open these gifts but failed. Rumor has it that they can be opened on Christmas Day. These three elements are crudely sewn together. Dr. Blank suggested that all three parts may be from a single body. Whoever made this thing must have a great hatred for Christmas. Well, that or they've never seen Santa Claus. He goes in F. I don't want to put him in F. I don't feel like he deserves to be in F. Like, maybe D, but he's going in top of D. Because he's not bad to work with. He's just... okay, he's going wherever the helper goes. The issue is that helper has drip. Rotolda does not have drip. Because Rotolda's gift is so fugly, he's going down to D. Just for that, but top of D, because he's not a pain. That's the only reason. Queen Bee, T-04-50. Wow. Its form appears to be an amalgamation of a gargantuan beehive and bee. A cross-section of the inside shows a darkish red surface with particles here and there, much like that of raw meat. The segment that appears to be the face is heavily distorted. It has wings, but they lost their intended function of flight. The one eye that remains relatively intact shows pupillary movements as if to watch for approaching intruders. The abnormality always remains still, so it is assumed that it does not move. When certain conditions are met, it releases spores. It will generate billions of spores within the 20-meter radius. The existence of life forms in its vicinity seems to be one of the key requirements. When it did, there was no immediate change in the employees who inhaled the spores, and no anomalous signs could be detected on the examinations that followed. Once more time had passed, the employee experienced severe pain in their occipital lobe and abdomen. Then, after a certain period of time, their head dislodged from the body, and a worker bee emerged from the separated body. It has been confirmed that the spores carry drone eggs that hatch inside the living host based on the findings of an autopsy done on a killed employee by the Abnormality. We believe that the larva will subsist on any portion of the body, be it blood, organs, or fat. It will move freely around the body at this stage. When it becomes too large to move, it creates a cocoon near the intestines. The host feels extreme hunger in this state, eating much more than usual. This cocoon moves upwards through the body as it grows, eventually damaging the arteries of the throat and the sarcopteroid with its jaws as it severs the host's head from its body. After this, it will emerge from the body, exacerbating the wound of the host further. Excerpt from counseling log. Redacted has been telling me about his itchy neck for a while. He complained about indigestion too. One time I saw him take a bunch of digestives. Who would have thought that it'd turn out to be such a serious issue? I never knew I'd be the one to witness that horrible moment. Omitted. Redacted and I were just chatting, but suddenly he stopped speaking. He was still scratching his neck. It was turning so red I was getting worried. Then his neck started to turn at such a strange angle. Right then and there I realized the severity of the situation. There was no way he could be putting his neck that way all on his own. It looked like someone was forcefully twisting his neck. Then I heard a zip, like the noise of shredding paper, a foreign sound of something tearing. His head fell to the floor. I heard a dull thud. Then, as if enough wasn't happening already, something began to crawl out of his neck, like a butterfly emerging from a cocoon, tearing apart his headless body. The wings, the yellow trunk, the teeth that gnawed away at his body. It's something I never want to see again. The being I'd hate to describe as something alive. Omitted. It seems to be aware of me somehow. It looked like it didn't have any reason to attack at that moment. It picked up his cranium and flew away, like a drone carrying honey. I can still hear the sound of its jaw rattling and its wings beating. Worker bee. Its appearance is clearly different from queen bees, other than its color. It is capable of flight, but it can only hover about 1 meter off the ground. It lacks any antennae or eyes. A long appendage that appears to be an intestine drags behind its rear on the floor. Worker bees show only two forms of behavior: delivering nutrients to the queen and proliferating. Upon encountering an employee, it uses its jaw to crush their head and then proceeds to inject a pupa into their body. Yuck. It's got good ego. Schnasty, bro. We're putting it in B. You could be a pretty tough abno. B for B, exactly. If it breaches, it's a pain in the ass, but it's got a cool ego. Do I put it above Silent Orchestra? No, we'll put it right there. Exactly, oh cheese it, exactly. See, everyone's got it. Everyone understands. Oh, this is another lore. I knew this one was going to be tied to lore. The moment that they talked about Carbon being found dead in the bath. T-05-51 Bloodbath Teth. An abnormality which contains the pain of all those who couldn't take their sorrow in stride. A bath of a gloomy color topped up with blood. The blood is always kept in equilibrium, it never overflows. Only despair can be found in its sunken depths. Unbearable depression overwhelms all those who look into the bath. In an instant, it can pull a nearby person into it. It bears no considerable strength, but those who suffer from its crushing depression do not resist. It devours the victim until nothing remains except their wrists. All the hands that float in the bath are pale, exsanguinated. They stretch into the air and reach out as if asking for help. It's no easy feat to cut one's wrists with a sane mind. A strong will is needed with the resolve to make multiple attempts. Only when it is sliced as if someone were cutting into a mere slab of meat can they achieve this. Only when one yearns for death that much can they succeed. I eternally regret not realizing to ask why she needed that industrial knife. I eternally regret not realizing what she was hiding that she was hiding her wrists with long sleeves. I eternally regret not realizing that she always took extra care to hide them whenever I spoke to her. I eternally regret not realizing that I never heard her cheerful laughter anymore, and that she roamed around the company with lifeless eyes more and more often. I can't even imagine how painful it would be to cut your wrist. I found out that the only reason she could manage to do something like that was she cut hers straight through. We always popped open a bottle every time we succeeded. It became one of our customs. She told us that it only takes one slight misstep to fall into indifferent habit if we get too used to success. Therefore, we should always smile, rejoice, and celebrate every little thing in the wake of success. And we should never neglect failure, as success can be born from a pile of failures. When I saw the lattice work of scars on her wrist, I was reminded of our wine cabinet. We had used up many of the bottles. There was only one left. That day I popped the cork off the last one. So that's the picture of Ayan drinking next to Carmen's, like, I guess, nerves. So that's what that picture is related to that. Damn. Yeah, this one's got kick-ass lore. Not just because it's tied to, like, Carmen and Ayan, but it actually has really good lore. Even just simple, like, small description, it's still really good. Even with a simple small description, it's still really good. We're putting this one... Where are you? I'm putting you up here. You're in the kick-ass lore territory. You're a boring Abno, but you've got kick-ass lore. There we go. I'm doing some rearranging. Carmen's tub, I cry. I know. It's really sad. How was it created, though? So it was probably created by an employee that had knowledge. Well, it was definitely an employee that went through some kind of pain and suffering. Because it's not necessarily Carmen's tub, but it's manifest of a very common trope, which happened to also be how Carmen died as well. Sad. It's a T prefix. I can't remember what the T prefix is for, though. If anything. Anyway. T or trauma. It's a trauma. Trauma Abno, yeah. Anyway. Oh god. Holy crap. Okay, well cheers. Opened can of well cheers. F-05-52 Zayn. Employee's record. Source unknown. Hey, have you guys ever been to one of those lobotomy meetups? Mind you, it took a lot of courage for me to bring this up again. You see, there's a bunch of clubs in this company where employees gather up. I once attended some kind of ping pong group event thing. But there weren't any girls there, so I pulled out real quick, lol. So like, one day I saw this announcement for some weird get-together on the court message board. I got interested and called up the group leader, and he introduced himself as Redacted from Safety. I asked if there were any girls in the group, and he told me that there were a ton of female employees. Now this got me super interested, so I signed up right away for the upcoming meetup. So I showed up, got a name tag like everyone else. I don't remember everything, but I think I saw like 3 people from training and 2 from information. About half an hour or so later, the leader bought dozens of cans of Well Cheers on a tray and gave one to each of us. I should have realized something was wrong when the can was already open, but I'm a sucker for soda, and I gulped the damn thing down in my throat the moment he passed me a can. Lamau. Now, after that, the leader told us it's time to move, and he said he got a van rented for us. We all thought he was an awesome guy for that. We hopped in the van with 2 employees from the Horde and 1 guy from the same department as me. The leader said it was going to take about an hour drive, so we could just nap if we wanted, so we did. Weird thing was, though, I would just sleep real fast. Like, real fast? Like, the moment I shut my eyes, I was out like a light. I have insomnia, but for whatever reason, I fell asleep so fast. That was my big mistake. Anyway, I was sound asleep, but I heard seagulls and was like, what the fuck? Seagulls? Yeah, at first, I thought it was someone's phone alarm, but then I heard waves crashing. I was like, man, this is way too real for to be a phone alarm. So I opened my eyes to find myself lying on a deck. I was on a goddamn boat, Lamau. Like, an actual real-life boat. I knew I was screwed the moment I saw shrimp hopping around. It sent chills down my spine. I wanted to believe it was a dream, but I swear that shrimp's realistic flopping was a sobering sight. The realization crushed me like a hammer. And I was surrounded by people who looked like they were the crew. They were all beefed up, like they'd been put back to sleep with like they'd put me back to sleep with force if I said something wrong. One slip and I'd be swimming with the sharks. The crew is something around 10 people, including the captain, boatswain, cook, and all that. They chuckled at me while I was spacing out. The guy who looked like the captain walked towards me and asked about my height and weight. I asked him when the ship goes to port. He told me it'd be about a month, but that I shouldn't try to run away or anything because they'd already made a deal with my people. I had no damn idea who my people were, but I was too scared to ask. Then the other crew members called me over for lunch. They were making instant ramen, putting shrimps, crabs, clams, and all other sorts of stuff in. They told me to stop acting like I was about to jump into the sea and try the ramen. I said no at first, but they laughed at me again, saying there weren't any sleeping pills or stuff like that, and gave me some anyway. Man's gotta live, so I ate it. It tasted better than I expected. As soon as we finished lunch, they told me they were going to teach me how to adjust the ropes. I pretty much gave up at that point, so I simply answered, sure. Oh my god. All I could see anyways were these little islands that no one would have had a chance of surviving on. For a month, I learned how to pull up fish traps, fill bait boxes, repair fishing nets, cook some ramen, get coffee, all sorts of stuff. I kept getting better until I got to the point where I could prepare mackerel sashimi and fish stew with the crew. Everyone complimented it. Said I could open a restaurant with that stew. Later on, we went through a couple of typhoons. Them and I started forming some kind of bond, a companionship. Whales were becoming a common sight at that point. 2 weeks in, the captain told me I was pretty good and asked me if I was interested in officially joining the crew. When I thought about it, I would have been fired from the corp anyway, so this seemed like a legit opportunity to make a living. This is the first time I ever got a compliment after all. What am I doing now? Well, I've been promoted and now I'm living fine. I've found true happiness cracking open a cold one after a hard day's work covered in seawater and sweat. I'm at the port now, but we gotta take off soon to catch some more shrimp. Never know what your future holds, bros. Sometimes I think about all those other folk who were at the meetup that day. Not that I really want to snoop around and find out though. I just want to keep a positive mind. I want to say they're hopefully doing good, just like me. Oh, it's time to sail out. See you guys. What the fuck did I just read? What the fuck did I just read? So what? Do they ship them off? Is that what, do the employees not die? They just get shipped off to U-Corp? They just get shipped off to the Great Lake? This is based on folklore. The idea of getting, I like, it seems like it's the idea of getting, what was the term that they used to do back in the day? Shanghai someone? Where they would get someone so drunk, then put them on a boat, and then by the time they wake up from their drunken stupor, they're already on the boat crew and they can't do anything. For those of you who haven't gotten to the Ishmael's point in the story, you'll understand that this isn't all roses and flowers, but hey, you know what? Well, cheers for actually being a good, happy ending and for being shrimply incredible. We're getting shrimped. All shrimp, no whales here. Alright. Let's go to the next. Wow, that was a tough one to read. Oh, thank you, Allarine, for being short. An abnormality that knows of spring's genesis and autumn's passing. Its surface is smooth, as if it were ceramic. In the place where the abnormality's eyes should be, it is empty. The cracks and openings are filled instead with growing plants. Allarine, a lovely one, a doll yearned to be a human. It was adored by people, its pupils so full. Allarine, abandoned in a dark forest, its eyes stolen by crows lusting for glitter. Its mind, life, and heart slowly withered away. Allarine, lacking eyes but all-seeing, a human yearned to be a doll, bearing the hope to return to dust. It shall go back to the grave of all that desires to live. I don't know what to think of this thing. It's so weird. Like, it's I gotta break this down, man. Why would it like neutral work? Because it's empty? Allarine, a lovely one, a doll yearned to be human. It was adored by people, its pupils soulful. Allarine, abandoned in a dark forest, its eyes stolen by crows lusting for glitter, and minded life slowly withered away. Allarine, lacking eyes but all-seeing, a human yearned to be a doll. Bearing the hope to return to dust, it shall go back to the grave with all the desires to live. Allarine, deserve happiness, not deserve happiness no longer. Is that why it just doesn't know what it wants? I don't know, man. This thing is so confusing. Like, as a WoW Abno too, it feels like there should be more here. I just don't even know what to say about it. Yeah, it's just kind of weird. Putting it at the bottom of C. Because at least it's a WoW, so it has redeeming factors in the fact that you can, like, get stuff out of it. Yeah, it seems like it got rushed. Maybe there's more subtext that I'm not reading into, but I'm not finding it. I'm not feeling anything. Nothing's coming up. I'm coming up empty here. Forsaken Murderer. T-01-54. An abnormality whose brain is imbued with rage, screams, and malicious cries. There is a wound on its forehead that never seems to heal. He hates everyone and everything. He wears a straitjacket, but is as free as any man. No amount of chains and restraints is enough to prevent him from committing violence. He always has to wear a straitjacket. Some say he was a death row inmate from federal prison. The researchers are always cautious around him. They felt that straitjackets couldn't contain him. The researchers wanted to study the murderer's brain to prove that innate evil existed. It was difficult to determine who was worse, a man who murdered the innocent with no remorse, or the researchers who wanted to open up his brain to satiate their curiosity. A wide range of medicine and chemicals were injected into him, some used for the sake of humanity's future, while others were used for new medical techniques. They all had the potential of changing the world. The researchers were getting more and more excited, although they didn't openly express how it was most palpable. They said they found a cure, but they never said what was cured. The prisoner spoke less and less. His aggressiveness was suppressed, but at the same time he lost himself. After an extensive review, he was permitted to have his straitjacket removed. It feels like my head is turning into metal. Sometimes I hear metallic creaks in my head. As the days passed by, he began inflicting self-harm. He would continuously hit his head on the wall or hard surfaces. He insisted on checking if his head was turned into metal. One day, he eventually decided to leave with the hope that he would stop once he was wounded. However, even with blood pouring down his face, he wouldn't stop until his wound was so deep that the whites of his skull were peeking through. He had to wear the straitjacket again, but he was no longer feared or monitored like before. A researcher died. It would have been difficult to identify him without his ID card, as his head was violently crushed. Lax security meant the door was often left unlocked or unattended. The prisoner that everyone believed to be confined was moving around on his knees. My head, turning into metal. Folds, my brain being flattened. He kept repeating strange words, and the final procedure was quickly put in place. Treatment was halted and he was dissected so his brain could be used for research. How do I know? I stated him myself. He kept muttering nonsense until the end. Ends begins, end. I have a head theory, I have a theory based on, sorry for the breathing. I have a theory that this is the Abno that Gebura saw kill people. Because he's a manifestation of... he's a manifestation of what seems to be evil. Or, innate evil, whether it be people who murdered the innocent, or researchers who opened up his brain and dissected him. Which is why I believe he is the abnormality that Gebura saw kill his family members. And also, that would be the name Forsaken Murderer. Because he's been forsaken by the company and a murderer, not by his own intent. He's a murderer that was forsaken by others. He was forsaken and became a murderer. This is my headcanon, that I think he is the person that Gebura saw kill, and then influenced her into becoming an abnormality hater. That's my belief, at least. I gotta rate him. Where are we putting you? I like you. We'll put you right there. Alright, Child of the Galaxy 0-01-55. It was a night veiled in gentle mist. A barefoot child was looking at me. He was crying, his dreamy eyes filled with sorrow. The sadness hanging on his face stopped me in my tracks. He said he lost something precious, and when I offered to help, he gave me a big smile. A teardrop fell from the child's dewy eyes as stars showered from the sky. The world falls into slumber, trapped in an ecstatic lullaby. That night, the galaxy descended with bare feet. Exit from the diary of employee redacted who committed suicide. It takes the form of a young boy with big eyes and skin that resembles the night sky. The child shows great enjoyment when talking and playing with others. He has a strong attachment to the act of making contact with another. If the child and an employee reaches a certain level of intimacy, he will give a small pebble to the employee he now considers his friend. The employee will feel happiness and vigor while in possession of the pebble. However, this pebble will do more than just good if the employee happens to enter any containment unit other than his. If an employee in possession of one of the child's pebbles, the sign of their strong friendship, dies, he will show deep grief and sorrow for their loss. Excerpt from Employee Redacted's diaries. XXXX. I looked into the child's eyes for a while. They may have spaced out a little bit because his eyes were so dreamy. I wanted to pet him, but I remembered my coworkers telling me not to have personal feelings towards abnormalities. Next. I told him my name. He repeated it with wide eyes as if he found out a big secret. Every time he called my name, it feels like it became something more than just a familiar thing I'd been living with. When another employee entered the child's containment unit, he did not follow that employee and looked at me instead. I felt basely triumphant after hearing about that. The kid follows me, and not you. The moment I entered the child's room, he jumped into my arms crying. When I finally set him down, he shed a tear that became a small white pebble that fell in my hand. Please don't lose it, and don't give it to anyone else, the boy mumbled. Do you like it? More than you like me? The boy quietly asked when I arrived after finishing work with another abnormality. I asked him how he knew what I was doing, and he answered lightly, "Isn't it obvious? I know everything. Whatever you do, wherever you go." His gaze lay on the pebble, then he smiled. His eyes gave me goosebumps. I tried to rid myself of the pebble, but it was beyond my control. I don't get what I'm talking about right now, but you still treasure it, right? The child smiles at me. Smiles, 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 smiles. I can't get this pebble off of me. My only hope is to wait for the child to tire of me. I'm waiting for that day, but will it ever come? People tell me I'm an excellent employee. Idiots, they don't know a thing. Shut up. I can't take it anymore. I can't escape him. I thought I was in charge. But the truth is, I was just a pebble in the hands the whole time. Whatever I do, wherever I go, I hear his whispers. I have to end it, but I'm not sure if I can. I came from afar. I'm so glad I met you. Become a pebble and let's walk the galaxy together. I can hear his whispers and breath. Pitch black darkness follows, just like the night I met him. This guy was just kind of, I like, this is decent. This is a decent log, and he's a decent abno, which combine to honestly make something like kind of all right. Specifically because he's helpful, and we did a lot of training with this guy. If used correctly, he's all upside. And really good upside, so I'm gonna put him at like top of B. I'm putting it at top of B. Yeah. I'm sticking with it. I'll move it around later, but I'm feeling top of B. I'm going with my intuition. Ah, my son! My beautiful son! I mean, I don't even have to read this. Where is he? But I'll read it anyways. I'll read him anyway. Punishing bird O-02-56 Teth. A small and confident bird that punishes the evil, guilty, and all sorts of irrelevant people. Some employees have said that it is cute when the bird mightily flutters its tiny wings. People have been committing sins since long ago. Why do they commit sins knowing it's wrong? The small bird wondered. It must be because there's no one to punish them for their misdeeds. If someone takes that role, then no foul act would happen in this world ever again. With that in mind, the little bird left the forest it had been living in and never went back. It's interesting how... Whoa, he's glowing. I didn't notice that. Yeah, see, it's like every one of the three birds have a warped sense of their purpose, where the big bird protects by killing. The punishing bird does not punish. Instead, he doesn't punish you actively. He inadvertently punishes you. And then I guess we'll figure out what Justice Bird is. But they have like a warped, yeah. Yeah, he punishes you for retaliation. Where like yeah, like it's like a twist to the story. Like he doesn't really punish you, but the punishment comes if you retaliate against his quote-unquote punishment. You add more to your charge, so you deserve it for attacking the goat. Yeah, okay. It's true. Joel attempted to kill him too, so. Oh, red. Little red hooded mercenary. F-01-57. Wow. I'm a pro. If you make a request, then I might help you. I used to be expensive, but I'll cut you some slack here under one condition. Hand me that dreadful cunning bastard. Hand that dreadful cunning bastard over to me if you ever see him. I'll hang his head over my bed. Only then can I get up in the morning without having a nightmare. An imposing abnormality, taking the form of a female warrior with a striking red hood. Her frayed hood has initials embroidered on it. Unreadable due to damage, the hood is taken. Many patches can be seen on the hood, suggesting that it's well worn. According to her own claims, she used to be a mercenary before coming to this facility, wandering around without fixed residence. She does not trust others easily and has an extreme fondness for battle. She is unusually comfortable with parts of her face and body being exposed or looking at a mirror. Other numerous symptoms of paranoia have been observed in her behavior. She has a strong desire to resolve emergency situations when they break out. She calls it a request of some kind. Since this behavior consequently helps management, the company recommended putting it to use depending on the situation. The following contains information that employees of every level should note. However, when she encounters the big bad wolf, the situation will change drastically. She will undergo several psychological transitions and including sudden depersonalization with intermittent explosive disorder. This encounter will lead to serious collateral damage, so it is advised to avoid any case where the two may face each other. Between us, there's no victory to be won. All I think is how I'll kill that bastard in a way more gruesome and painful than last time. Thus, there's no toast to raise. There's no deliciously baked cakes to eat or wine to drink. I got used to grinding the axe instead of picking flowers when I was 15. Man, my throat's starting to give. Yeah, I'm gonna go bare minimum A tier. Oh god, can you hear that? Okay, give me a second. I know, I just took a big swig. Okay. A tier for sure. I like Big Bird more though, so we're putting her directly below Big Bird. Just because I think Big Bird's cool. But Red is helpful. She's relatively easy to work with. Yes, she can breach, but she's so helpful that I can't deny her. I can't deny her a spot up here. Yeah, the log is eh. The log is eh. She's just such a good Abno, and I love how her ego gift looks. Because Bloodborne. And that alone is just like, looks effing awesome. And the wolf. FO258, wow. An abnormality in the shape of a wolf with sparsely damaged fur. It's bipedal and is capable of communication to some extent. It always attempts to devour employees or breach. Such actions are easily preventable since it shows obvious signs and behavior in conversation before doing so, making this abnormality fairly easy to manage. The incident on the day of Redacted was an alerting event for many employees. The moment Red Riding Hood ran into the wolf, the situation spiraled out of control. Prevent the two from meeting at all costs. Considering the potential damage it may cause, it would be a wise decision to sacrifice a few employees to divert their attention away from each other. He had flesh for the first time in a long while, and its taste was so good. In the corner of his eye, a familiar piece of red cloth stood out from the wardrobe. He may or may not have seen it before, but he didn't really care about it. Since then, it got harder and harder to keep himself in check. Still, it didn't matter to him. After all, he was destined to be a big bad wolf. There may be lots of stories here, but no story is disgusting as the wolf's role. It is a sin to be born as the wolf. No one cared about the wolf's name. It has to be called the big bad wolf. All wolves are raised to become giant, ferocious, and hairy monsters. Wolves could not eat other animals even if they were starving. Wolves could not cross the line when doing bad things, and wolves had to be punished. Wolves always needed to be an example. Wolves could not make friends with anyone. Omitted. What's the ego gift? Oh, for Red? It's mostly her ego weapon. Her gift isn't that good. The ego weapon in the suit. Because it's like a Bloodborne reference. The issue is that it's Wolf. What Wolf is trying to do is trying to put on his comfy, like, plushy side of things. Like, the reason he looks like that in, I don't know. I kind of feel for him, man. He's worse than Red, 100%. He's worse than Red 100%, but I don't have the heart to put him below B tier. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't have the heart. I don't have the heart. In fact, I'm putting him here. I like him more than Silent Orchestra. More than Silent Orchestra. So I'm putting him there. And that's where we're staying. Fragment of the Universe, O-03-60, Teth. An abnormality that resembles a child's innocent doodles. Originally, it had no stable form. Its shape would continually morph. To this day, its aspects still change, albeit at a much slower pace. Component analysis has revealed that the abnormality consists of matter that does not exist on Earth. It is notable for its metaphysical appearance that one cannot explain with words. It often shows incomprehensible linguistic activity. One employee tried to decipher its speech, see document 1. Employee David's song. But their mental containment level rose beyond, or their mental contamination level rose beyond the limit within several days. They suffered severe psychosis and had to be quarantined. The abnormality's tentacles, which are quite different from what we consider an average tentacle, or for simplicity's sake, we've monikered them as tentacles, can pierce through the barrier of humanity. Employees impaled by the tentacles will suffer semi-permanent brain damage. When the abnormality escapes its containment unit, it will emit noises in the corridor. As the sound it makes have what could be considered a melody in syllables, we consider it singing. However, none of our staff can precisely remember it, given that most of the time they are unable to describe it due to their serious brain damage. Those who were within 100 meters of this singing called it a sound unheard of in this world. Because of these descriptions, we've titled it Echoes from the Beyond. See Document 2, Singing. Experiment 1, the possibility of communication. We've determined that the abnormality has an intelligence level similar to, or higher than, that of humans, and gave it a simple language learning course. As a result, a crude communication by combining words became possible. The following is a segment of communication recorded with the abnormality. Question: are all of your kind similar in appearance? Abnormality. Negative. Outside. Child. See. Picture. Face. Happy. Change. Form. Why have you come here? Knowledge. Share. Human. Why do you want to share your knowledge with us? Understanding. Knowledge. Moment. No. Universe. Coincidence. Negative. None. This section is an attempt to decipher the conversation with the abnormality. 1. It based its form on a picture drawn by a child. It's changed its form because the child's expression while drawing it was happy. 2. It came here to share its species' knowledge with us. The moment we fully understand that knowledge, we will know their ultimate goal. 3. There is no such thing as a coincidence in the universe. Experiment 2, an experiment on laughter. After watching a video about laughing for 30 minutes, the abnormality understood the concept of laughing. After that, when an employee entered its containment unit to work with it, it would sometimes emit a strange noise with what appeared to be the shape of a smile on its face. It looked like it was mimicking laughter. Experiment 3, comprehension of symbols. We taught it the meaning of various symbols along with language. Among them was the shape of a heart. This symbol provoked a distinct change from the abnormality. Q, showing the abnormality a picture of a heart. This is the symbol of the heart. Many people believe that emotions come from the heart, and this symbol is used to express positive emotions or a liking towards someone, omitted. Afterwards, several symbols resembling hearts were seen on the abnormality's body. It seemed to understand that the symbol could be used to express friendliness towards humans. Combining the results of the previous 2 experiments, we can confirm that this abnormality is not hostile to humans and wishes to become friends. Document 1, Employee David's song. David was famous in his department for his attempts to communicate with the fragment of the universe. He was an intellectual who enjoyed reading philosophical books and gazing at the stars. He held interest in the abnormality, and as such, he got the job. He researched its language and behavior purely out of his personal interest. So what became of David? Eventually, he succeeded in entering the domain of the fragment of the universe. However, it was obvious that his small brain couldn't withstand it. He was transferred to the psychiatric ward and died of starvation while singing an unrecognizable song. This is why the abnormality's voice cannot be revealed to the public. Audio record, Echoes from the Universe. Currently removed. Document 2, Singing. Why don't you tell me earlier what the abnormality was responsible for? Why didn't you tell me earlier that the abnormality was responsible for their condition? I had no idea if there's any pattern, but they all show the same strange behavior on the exact same days. Can you imagine a group of patients staring at the sky with dazed faces, wailing strange noises in the corridor at night while everyone is asleep? I had such a difficult time persuading the other patients that they must have been practicing for the company's upcoming Halloween event. Psychiatric treatment and medicine won't help. Coming, coming, all coming. They keep repeating these words. And anything else they utter is not from any language we know. I think sending them to a general hospital was an unwise decision. Doctor from the former record deleted ward. I really like this log. This is a really well-written log. This thing's cool. This might be another Abno that exists beyond. I wonder if this is one that was actually created within the facility or if it's one that was existed without the facility. Because it seems to be a manifestation of the idea of life beyond our own. like, it's a combination of the idea of alien life in all ways, shapes, or forms, where it's both alien life that wants to make positive contact with humans. It's also a alien life form that is incomprehensible and borderline eldritch in the way that it, like, makes people sing and drives them crazy. And it's also a monster in the sense that it has tentacles. It combines, like, all of the aspects of a sci-fi monster and the universe itself into one idea. So I don't know if there's actually a species or it's representing the idea of extraterrestrial species or attempting to do that. We don't know, I guess. But whatever it is, it's cool. I like this. I like him. That lore redeemed that abnormality a lot. He was just kind of but it's going up here in the neutral abnormalities that have really cool lore. In B tier. Crumbling armor. Oh, I forgot about you. O-05-61. Oh, dang. My sister just broke up with her boyfriend. I was wondering why we were getting so many texts. Drama! Drama! An armor that seems to have been abandoned hundreds of years ago. An engraving on the bottom states, "Life is only granted to those who hold no fear of death." Obviously, putting on the armor is forbidden, but by the company regulations. Note, there have been rumors of employees pretending to put on the armor for fun. Please look into this immediately. This armor was secured from a museum. The information below is fragments of its legend. This armor once belonged to General XXX, who joined the War of XX. During the War of XXX, it was a family heirloom passed down through many generations. The general always wore the armor to keep himself protected. By a stroke of bad luck, however, an arrow flew into the gap in the armor, killing him instantly. Somehow the armor was undamaged. After the death of General XX, the armor was presented before Commander XXX of Battalion 00. The commander was always seen steel-clad each time he set out to battle. During one of his battles, the commander fell from his horse while fleeing from the enemy and died due to a fatal injury upon his skull. Still, the armor once again remained undamaged. There are many others throughout this armor's history who have had their hands on it. Each one of them has died in battle. Meanwhile, the armor has kept its pristine condition. Over the years, the armor made its way to a warrior named... He was known simply for keeping the armor in storage, not for wearing it for a single battle. Eventually, he died of old age after participating in dozens of wars without sustaining a single injury. During his lifetime, the armor's right arm became damaged, but there was no sign of exterior combat. Their family later donated the armor to a museum. After running a few tests on the armor, we have come up with the following conclusions. If this armor is worn by a cowardly employee, their chances of fatal injury and death are drastically increased. Inversely, when an employee who has no fear of death wears it, their chance of injury and death are exceedingly decreased. One of our personnel managers suggested an entrance test where the interviewees wear the armor and walk around in it for 10 minutes. This suggestion was immediately shot down. That's funny. I like this. I like this one a lot more. I mean, I already kind of liked it before. I was kind of sad when we had to get rid of it. They're just trying to weed out the weak. They're just trying to weed out the weak. Its weapon's also awesome looking. It just sucks that it's so low level that we never get to use it. Like, if I would have gotten this early in the facility, Joe would have been rocking this shit so fast. The only time we had it, though, we had to reset. So, which was really sad. Its eco gift is also really cool, too. It doesn't show here, but you get, like, that cool aura. I really like this. I really like it. I really, really like this abnormality. I'm not gonna lie. I really like this abnormality. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Where is he? Where's my armor? Bro, did they forget the armor? Am I blind? They forgot it! Bruh. This will represent the armor for me. I'm putting it in A tier. I'm putting it above Queen of Hatred. I don't care. I don't know what that one is, so we're just gonna use that as the armor. We could use the training dummy for armor, but... Alright, I gotta lock in. I'm not doing a part 2. God, how far am I through this? There's actually a lot more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Unfortunately, if my math serves correctly, we are halfway. I thought we'd crank this out. That's not counting the tools. But the tools don't really count, because those are... Yeah. Wow, I thought we'd crank this out, Bucky. No, 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 no. I don't know how you can smell that that's the power strip that my computer is plugged into, but do not press that. Thank you. Wow, we're gonna have to do part 2? Really? Damn, well, sorry everybody. I hope you guys want a part 2 to this. I hope you guys want a part 2. Encore plus plus. The show must go on. So. Oh, and Caffeinated, you were doing APOC Bird? Oh no, we had deaths. All right, we'll do a part 2 at some point. Probably relatively soon so that we're still all on the same page. But the final LobCorp stream. What is this? The final will be the next one. 5 finals. Okay. Well, we'll get there. All right, I'll be sure to save this, or at least take a screenshot of it. But all right, thanks everyone for chatting, lurking, all of the above. We've already had 3 the ends, but this is past the end. We've moved beyond the end. So we will. This is like the end plus. All right, everybody. Thanks for chatting, lurking, all of the above. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. On Twitch, we got 4 people. We could go. Let's see if there's any Lobotomy Corp streamers that we can go raid. Search by category. Watch me be the only one. Oh, there's one other person. SCP Daycare. We get a new victim. We're jumping them. Alright. Good night, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe, stay fresh, and I'll see you in the next stream. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care of yourselves. you